Welcome to the SHENKO Dynasty. Welcome to the SHENKO Dynasty podcast. I am your host, Kashenko, and I am currently in Poland. I've been here for almost 2 months now, just connecting with my ancestral lands, and it's really just beautiful here. It is springtime now, so slowly the weather is getting really nice, and it's actually hot. I've gotten sunburnt a couple of times going for walks. And that's very funny when you think about the fact that I come from Australia and we're known for it to be sunny and hot and stuff like that. And then Poland, a lot of people think of it as this really cold, wintry place. But, there's 4 seasons in Poland. So it's pretty funny that I got sunburnt. Anyways, I'm really happy here to be with my family, connecting with everyone, and just walking on these lands, Regardless, today I have a guest. Her name is ASHLEE. This was the first conversation we had ever, so it was really cool that we got to talk and, get to know each other. ASHLEE is a producer, and I've been following her for a while now. And just her energy and the content on social media. Every time I looked at her page or like anything she posted, it just emitted so much love and joy. She's always smiling and, joking around. So she was someone that I had in mind to come on the podcast just to I guess formally introduce ourselves, but talk about her process, her thoughts around creativity and her experiences in the music industry and just in general. Here is the episode. Welcome to the SHENKO Dynasty podcast. I'm your host, Kashenko, and I have a very special guest here today.
Yeah.
ASHLEE.
What's good? Hello, listeners. Hello. Yes, ASHLEE, based in the United States, South Carolina to be precise. Music producer, overall chill person. Yeah.
Nice. Overall chill person.
I get
that vibe.
And I like to laugh if it wasn't evident enough.
Yeah. I do too. I think, it's funny. I think because I have a lot of serious subject matter in what I say on the internet. People think I'm this really serious person, but I'm not. I mean what I say.
Right.
But it's I'm not that serious.
Serious, you're right.
So thank you for being here and sharing yourself. I think my intention with this podcast is to just highlight people's unique journey and just the perspectives we come into in our creative process and tapping into the soulfulness of what we do, because I feel like we need to reconnect with that aspect of ourselves as creatives with all the distractions going on and things that might just make us disconnect and not remember who we are. So yeah.
Understand.
I want to start off by asking you, where did creativity begin for you? When did you start to notice it was this force in your life?
Actually, pretty early on. I'd say if I had to guess a year, maybe around 2005, 2006, because prior to being a producer, I actually used to rap. When we had legit composition notebooks, I used to fill those up page to page to page to page and rap over YouTube instrumentals that I could find at the time. And often it was like a lot of Lil Wayne instrumentals and just that type genre. Obviously, like I wasn't making anything myself, but I would rap. Oh gosh, this maybe aging myself a bit, but I didn't know at the time what DAWs were, Pro Tools, none of that. So I legitimately had on my Windows PC, my mom's PC, it was like a little, not even a full program, legit a little recorder to where it just had record, stop, fast forward, and rewind. And everything had to be done in one take. So I would
Yeah.
I don't know, somebody's phone had a Samsung condenser microphone, I wanna say, taped to the wall, like at a very odd angle to the wall. I would be at the wall, had the laptop right here, and then have somebody's phone with the instrumental playing in the background. So boom, hit record, play the instrumental. Again, pre-puberty. So and then he hits record, and that would be the entire song. And then just
Yep.
export it as an MP3. So that had that going on for a while, even through middle school. It wasn't until the latter end of high school, my senior year, um, I knew I wanted to continue doing music, but I was only beginning to dive into the production aspect of it. Up until that point, I didn't know what music theory was, didn't know how to read sheet music, hadn't played any instrument. And it wasn't until, like I said, my senior year, I had chosen piano as my, I guess, go-to instrument to learn per se. And so going into college, I'll keep this brief. Going into college, I majored in piano, um,
Nice.
learned properly how to play like chords, music theory, read sheet music to a degree, play proper compositions and classical music even for a little bit. And fast forward to now, we have 10 years worth of experience of production,
I
and
love
still
that.
cranking out beats today. So quite a journey.
Yeah, the way that you described it though was as if it was just kind of like this clear path. Is that the case? Like you just knew that music was the
Yeah,
thing?
honestly, I genuinely I wish I could give a solid answer as to why I even started rapping in the first because I wasn't rapping about anything introspective or maybe a little bit like one day I'm gonna have such and such amount of money, the typical stuff, right? But I don't know. I don't really feel like I had a purpose in the sense of actually excuse me, becoming a genuine artist in that sense. I was just doing it for fun. Now with the production aspect, I just fell in love with what I was listening to at the time, which was a lot of like Soulection type SoundCloud beats. And so I would listen to those and just get a sense of why I liked it, what drew me towards it, and then I would experiment within FL Studio, and then everything honestly just blossomed from there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And did you grow up with people around you that love music or like were musicians? Or had a type of inclination to
Mhm.
creativity?
Not really, to be completely honest. The extent is my dad in college played the trombone for USC's band, University of South Carolina's band. I think all 4 years. Outside of that, no. Genuinely nobody. Nah. Now, of course, like they had listened to music, um, but outside of that, no. No, it was just me.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? Like I feel like with my family,
Mhm.
they love music, so I grew up listening to a lot of different type of
Right.
music, but I from a young age just knew this was I wanted to sing and like even
Mhm.
on my grade 3, I was like grade 3 or 4, I was looking at like you know how they have like the books with
Uh-huh.
um like, they ask what you wanted to do when you grow up, and I put, like, singer and actor, so I
Yeah.
always knew that it was something I
Yes.
wanted to do, but, like, my mom wanted to actually be a singer, but because of, like, my parents grew up in Poland,
Mhm.
um, and so but she didn't think it was possible, so
Mhm.
basically, it was, like, a lot of creative people in my family, but,
Mhm.
never took the road of actually being an
Yeah.
artist or whatever, you know?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's understandable. My aunt is kind of in that vein now, like, she wants to be a songwriter. I don't know necessarily a singer, but, like, she's likes music, you know, your Maxwell's, the R&B type of sound, and she's ever since I've been a proper music producer, she contacts me with, "So, Ashley, you got some beats I can write to?" I mean, love her down, but she hasn't written a song to this day, and she's been on this trip for, like not expose her too much, but she's been on this, like, ideal for a while now. And I'm like, you can do it. I just need you, like, to actually physically put in, you know, the work to write and
Mhm.
be consistent with it." And so one of these days, I'll get her on a demo or something, but
That would be cool.
yeah,
The experience of just, like, collaborating with family would be
family, right.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Man, that would just be so cool to, like, grow up in a family where everyone's just a musician. Just
Yes,
like
exactly. If I could even play a piano or be taught the piano at a young age by a family member, that honestly would have saved me so much heartache, not heartache, but headache. Just learning in school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I wanna talk about production. What about it is special to you?
You.
Like, what is the experience like when you're
Mhm.
creating music and you're feeling these sounds
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
of that?
Oh, many, many things. Okay. I'm one who is primarily about feeling first and foremost, and then getting the general reaction from myself first of like the motion, the head nods, the shoulder swinging. I'm doing a whole like even I'm not sure if you peeped into my Instagram lives whenever I'm like working on something, but just like head nod, shoulder going, and just the overall feeling of it is what I gravitate towards first. So got that, the melodies, um, something smooth, just I'm trying to explain it. Ideas come frequently for me, especially like melodic passages or just like quick ear candy things. I like to call them ear candy sounds, textures, what have you. I hear those first upon like hearing a melody. So I'll hear that. I'll often lay those down on top of a melody, and then the drums. All dependent on the cadence or the flow of the melody. I'll of course build the drums around that. Um, Anything that can knock and complement what I'm already got going on with the melody well. Um, I feel like that is my sound, and it took a while to um find my sound in a way, but I found a good balance of heavy, hard-hitting drums and then unique, airy synths or melody runs that just like kind of trickle in within a beat. Like I say it's like solving a puzzle, just finding the right pieces and then making everything mesh well with one another. And then I feel like I found a good balance of doing that nowadays at least. So,
You know, as you were talking about the drums and,
mhm.
like, how they hit, I remember,
Uh-huh.
you know, I was telling you about, how Sounds by Somewhere was
Mhm.
sharing some of your stuff.
Mhm.
I was listening to some of the drums and I was like, "This was real, like, fucking awesome."
Yeah. Yes, man.
Just like
Yes.
the sound, like, real intense, but in a good way.
Yes, that's the perfect word, intention. Intention. Oh, this okay, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna feed off of that
Go ahead, go.
because I was having a discussion with the homie Akil J recently. Shout out Akil. Um, we were in his studio room and I was just complimenting him because he's an artist and songwriter in his own right, but just even going past being a producer, doing certain things within the beat with intention, like certain cadences or certain pauses and breaks and a hi-hat roll here, a hi-hat stop and chop here and there. Not a lot of, I don't know, overgeneralize, but it takes like a unique ear as a songwriter to pick up on those, and not everybody does. And like I put these things in my beats with intention that you can do a certain vocal run or a certain melodic passage on top of that. And I was telling
Okay.
him that because he does it really, really well, and that's what catches catches my ear in a lot of songs. Not even dealing with me, just songs in general, to where I can hear the producer of a song doing something with the intent of having it portrayed a certain way or having
Mhm.
it sung a certain way.
Mm.
So that's a perfect word and perfect descriptor also of what I like when it comes to music too.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's like I love when vocals and
Mhm,
the like either drum patterns or just the
mhm,
the general sounds, it just blends together. So like
mhm.
it's like just the voice becomes a part of the
Part of the beat,
instrumentation.
right? Yeah,
Yeah. And I think
exactly,
that's just
exactly.
a really intelligent way to just create and produce sound.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
yeah, there is the feeling aspect of music, but
mhm.
also the intelligence. And I don't think you have to be fully conscious of like the theory of it. It's
I
just
agree.
like
Yeah,
being aware of what the music is doing.
I agree. I fully agree. Yeah, yeah, and then finding as a producer, finding the right artists and songwriters that you're able to share. It's a bond in a sense, like just share that
Yeah.
bond and share that same common knowledge or just what's the word I'm looking for? Knowledge or feeling.
Synergy.
Yes, perfect. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Be on the same wavelength, right? Be on the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
path or synergy with one another. That's what, like, again, they don't have to be a major artist, like indie, whatever. Just that hierarchy doesn't really matter to me as long as you can find your person or persons to work with, have fun with, and everybody just be on a good common ground with it. The music just sounds chef's kiss to me.
Yeah. It
So,
comes from a different place, like when you have
hmm
that genuine synergy
yeah,
and connection.
genuine love. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
I fully agree.
So, who have been your most favorite people to work with?
Right.
Because I
Favorite.
know that you've
Hmm.
worked on projects with
Hmm.
people.
Hmm. Okay, let's see. Artist wise, um, Mar Gray. Shout out to Mar. Met him back in 2017. He's been like a brother to me ever since. So Mar, Akil J, a day in the life. Run through some names. Miles, Janelle. Um, oh gosh, I'm gonna be missing some people. And they're gonna hate me. As soon as this ends, I'll be like, oh fuck, I meant to say. But see, I'm also trying to think because these people are like my genuine friends as well. So
Yeah.
just like putting the artistry aside, like I can have everyday conversation with them that's unrelated to music, and that's honestly how it is. Um, just in general, like I consider these people friends first, and then like, hey, let me send you a beat as an artist type situation. Secondly, Jonathan's dope. Um, fuck, fuck me. Sorry for cursing.
No,
I'm
you're
so
good.
sorry. Oh gosh.
This is like mental, like
Mental worry because I'm pulling and like, let me hold on. Let me just go to my text thread. 'Cause if I see the name, then be like, oh yeah, okay, Mo. Yeah, shout out to Mo. Gabe. I'm gonna go run through my list. Sorry, fourth,
shout out,
and then I do
shout out.
shout out right. Shout out all these people. Oh, okay, some more. I'm gonna do a couple more. D Sharp, J Track. Can't forget him. Todd Zach. Ryan. Urban. Okay, I'll cut it off there. Anybody I miss, I am so sorry. Billy, Peter, True Sally, AY, like running off all
Just
these
shout
names.
out to everyone.
Right? Shout out to the whole crew. But there's a mix of like proper artists and producers within all those names. So they'll know. But yes, those like all of them I've established a genuine like friendship and relationship with, and I love all of them down. So yeah, that my people right there. Starting to panic a little bit. I'm not gonna hold you because I know I'm still missing somebody or some people, but they know I love them.
So, like, when you're working with new people,
Hmm.
I obviously don't know who everyone you work with,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
but like when you are in a situation where you're working with
Mhm.
new people, what do you look for? and you know that, like, it's clicking, and because
Mhm.
I think for me, when I collaborate, I
Mhm.
know it doesn't have to be like a full long-term friendship or relationship. Like, sometimes you
Mhm.
just connect with people. So
Mhm.
when you're in that type of, space,
Mhm.
like I was saying, what are the signals that this is a good connection? Or, like,
Uh-huh.
what kind of characteristics, do they have? What kind of demeanor,
Mhm.
personality? You know what I mean?
Oh gosh. Okay. For one, being open to an idea that they may have already set in stone, but like be willing to change it or at least come to a compromise with what I may bring to the table. I'm not picky generally. Um, and honestly, just people with good intentions. And I feel like it's a vague answer, but like genuinely, somebody who knows what they want to do and aren't necessarily like you can be foggy, but at least have a general idea that you can present to me so I'll know what to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll just have to do well, I don't have to, but I feel like I may be overdoing my end of the things and like I may overdo or overcomplicate a beat and you can be like, "Oh, well actually I wanted it more simple than that." And if I don't know that up front, and it's like, "Okay, well, I mean, and one thing, just this is just a sidebar, and my friends know this. I don't like my time being wasted, and like in the sense that I'm doing all these extra things, and I don't necessarily know what you want per se. So,
Mm,
somebody who like knows what they want, have good intentions, and has a good idea of what they want to do. Um, I guess going to the business aspect of it, anybody that's just understanding of and respectful of like I don't want to phrase this. Understanding how I should be compensated for my work.
yeah,
So not I don't want to say belittling, but kind of undercutting me in a sense. I'm looking for the proper word. But
valuing.
perfect, thank you. Devaluing devaluing my work in a sense like cuz oftentimes I'm like making the beat, which is fine. The artist will have their own engineer or they'll engineer the song themselves and then they want to put it out and then boom. Everything's been good as of late. Like I haven't had any complications, so I don't have like a story to say to relate to. But just like knowing, okay, you did this, you're deserving of such and such percentage. And like being cordial about that and being understanding of it. I'm not difficult in that aspect. Everything I always tell people, even producers I work with, if we land something, if we play something, I just want everything to be even, regardless of like who did what. Now, there are cases where somebody may have done less than other people, and in that regard, I'll speak up and be like, actually, oh, but you should, you know, you put a one hi at here. I don't know if you deserve. Well,
Yeah.
anyways, but um for the most part, I feel like everybody, engineer, songwriter, producer, everybody that played a part in getting a song made should have equal compensation across the board. And I'm the same way throughout any interaction. And usually I let the artist know up front, like, if you want to buy this, I'm cool. I'm willing to bargain or work around whatever budget you may have and things like that. So I like being on a even ground and hopefully again, whoever I'm working with feels the same way.
Mhm.
And thankfully I haven't dealt with any situations to where I've had to butt heads with anybody. Cause I'm not that type of person. Like I said, when I tell you I am very to myself, chill, quiet, I keep within my same circle. I am genuinely that. So I don't go looking out for confrontation and the whole music, industry can be crazy. So I don't venture out on that. But to answer your question, yes.
I feel like being in those type of, um, I wanna say healthy
Mhm,
relationships,
yeah.
it
Mhm,
takes a lot of accountability,
right.
for your, like, as someone that wants to work with people, like, you
Mhm,
have to understand how to relate to people.
mhm,
And we're all kind of just figuring it out. We all have our
I agree.
contexts, we have our
Mhm.
traumas and all that,
Yep.
whatever.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
influences how we're going
Yep.
to deal with people. But
Mhm.
I think it's just at least work towards being as honest as possible in the sense of
Mhm.
like the way you show up and with integrity.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
But as you were speaking, I was thinking about like because I've worked with artists. I
Mhm.
used to work at a record label,
Mhm.
and one thing that I noticed was that sense of like how you were talking about knowing what you want.
Mhm.
I felt like artists, they kind of know that they're creative and they want to do something with music, they want to sing and
Mhm.
make music. But
Mhm.
oftentimes there's like a disconnect in actually being able to take the actions necessary and like
Mhm.
have the confidence to move
Mhm.
forward and like yeah, I just noticed this disconnect even in myself in my journey because like
Mhm.
I would work with certain producers or people and it
Mhm.
just wouldn't click, and I don't think it was
Mhm.
anyone's fault. I think it's just
Mhm.
this process of developing clarity around who you are,
Mhm.
your gift,
Mhm.
and like even like again like how to relate to people and how that all
Mhm.
works.
Question,
So yeah.
if you don't mind, how okay, in those situations to where you would feel a disconnect, how would you go about, I guess, I assume you would still work with the artist and try to come to a common ground on what y'all were working on, or like how do you maneuver working with people who you may like, I don't know if this is going to work or things like that. Had that
Mm.
kind of feeling.
Well, I will say that I've matured a lot
Okay. Come on.
since
Come
then.
on. Okay. Uh-huh.
So like this was I started working at a label probably over 8 years ago, and I
Okay.
was there for 3 years.
Okay.
But even even in between then, I've worked with people and
Mhm.
collaborated and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But I think like a part of my journey has been being just being honest in terms of like being able to vocalize
Mhm.
what I'm
Mhm.
feeling.
Mhm.
Um because for me it's been like I've dealt with things of like feeling not seen.
Mhm.
And I'm generally like growing up, I didn't talk much. I was like,
Mhm.
I was creative and intelligent and smart and all that, but
Mhm.
I wasn't always expressive. So
Yeah.
that's something that I had to learn.
Yeah.
And I think like in the past, I would just ghost or just not communicate properly, and I don't wanna
Yeah.
say that's for every single situation, but I think when like, I was gonna be signed and I was working with a producer in that sense, but I just felt like the things around
Mhm.
it was just a false sense of momentum, a false
Uh-huh.
sense of hype, and I felt that, and
Yeah.
what I needed was to explore music with someone who didn't put pressure on outcomes. And
Okay.
that's what
Yeah.
I so, like, that's what I was thinking of when you were talking about, like, artists knowing what they want.
Right.
Sometimes, like, as a producer or just someone who's facilitating an experience with an artist, you
Mhm.
have to decide or just understand with different people, it might be a different kind of journey. But
Mhm.
that's like if you're willing to go down that path because you might
Mhm.
have a connection with someone and you're like,
Mhm.
I see the potential and
Mhm.
their kind of devotion to
Mhm.
their gift and what they're trying to
Mhm.
express. So
Mhm.
there might be some chaos in that process.
Mhm.
And chaos doesn't have to be like a bad thing, but it's like,
Right.
just trying to figure out how
Yeah, a
things
lot
click
going
and
on.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Um, but it's up to you. Like you have to understand what your boundaries are. So that's
Mhm.
kind of like a part of why I do artist development as well, is
Yeah.
helping artists to because it's not just like, oh, we're just making music and
Yeah.
like
Yeah, some other
we're
factors that go into it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of, like, personal integration, personal
Right.
development. So that's why a lot of my work is centered around the soulful aspect
Yeah.
of, like, who we are, why we're doing what we're doing, and building the
Yeah.
skills, being an integrated and embodied person to
Yeah.
actually, because a lot the disconnect also comes in your career,
Mhm.
in a lot of people's careers, is like not having the internal infrastructure to
Mhm.
support the career,
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. Okay. Interesting. No, 'cause see, again, most of what I deal with or just go through life with nowadays is from a producer's point of view. And so I work with artists, but I don't know every artist or every songwriter's like situation and how they got to where they are right now. These stories that they're writing about, I don't know what sparked this, like this idea and this philosophy that you have. So it's good at least for me to get an insight from you and then from others on why you do what you do, why you go about, assisting people and aiding people and helping them along this journey and along your journey as well. So I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
love that.
Thanks for asking.
Yes, of course.
This kind of relates to something that I wanted to ask you. When you're working on a project with someone, how deep do you go with them as a producer? And because it's not just producing, like, you're
Mm-hmm.
helping to curate an experience with an
Mm-hmm.
artist, and, like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's what ends up projecting into
Hmm.
the music that you create. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
how deep do you go?
Indeed. um. Okay. Let me think. Cause I haven't like dove per se deep with an artist in the minutes now. So I'm trying to put myself like back in that headspace. Oftentimes, like when I'm making stuff by myself, or like even when I go to a friend's house, we're just making beats and then we'll send it out to whoever eventually. So there's not like a goal or a particular feeling. I'm using air quotations, feeling in mind. But okay, for one, I try to get a general sense of what vision they have because that overall will reflect in the sound. And so if they say I want it to sound like we're on a nighttime ride, late at night, just 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, that feeling, it's like, okay, well, I have to mentally put myself there and also go through my sounds and see what sounds like that kind of mode or what feels like I could be plopped in that time frame. Um and then I'll just go from there, just working on melodies. Um, if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel like um, I could just lay back and chill, then I'll move on to something else. Or if they have a reference in regards to what they want it to sound like, I'll listen to the reference and then pull ideas from said reference into what we're crafting. And then ultimately, we'll just go through the weeds, go through the sounds. Um, Now, I've recently gotten into, and I'm particularly thinking about Margaret. We would get on Discord and work on these songs together. Like, so I'll work on a melody, and he'll be like, "Oh, can you do this with the melody? Can you add a strings and things like that?" So crafting it virtually has been an
Mhm,
experience. I'm not gonna
mhm.
lie, it's been an experience, but that's been fun, and that's also been an avenue in which we've taken to work on songs. I don't think we've like made a full project over there like virtually like that. Oftentimes it's me again making beats in my room and then sending it off and then, we'll just go from there. Um so like going back to your question, how deep, that's as deep as it's been. I honestly feel like if I were present with an artist like in a proper studio session, it'd be a lot better that way just because the energy is different
Mhm.
versus me emailing you something or texting you a beat. And then, you or I replied 5 days later, and then it's like, okay. So, like, that connection
Mhm.
is kinda,
Disjointed, yeah.
wishy-washy. Yeah. But, like, being present and physically in a setting with someone or, like, other producers and just bouncing ideas off of one another, I feel like that aids positively in crafting a proper body of work. for somebody. So, but yeah, so like I mean, in regards to like I said, um, going deeper than it, that's all it's really been for the most part. It's just them sending me references or like a general idea of what they want, and then I'll do my research. I'll listen to the type of genre they are leaning or gravitating towards, and then I'll make it. If they like it, cool. If they don't, we'll just tweak it and workshop it that way. But that's pretty much
Mhm.
how it's been. So.
And do you find, um, because you work with a lot of your friends, that it's
Mhm.
easier to have that connection within the process?
Mhm. Very much so. Um, going back to like me being easy to work with, I'm always down for any new ideas or concepts, even not even from solely a producer, just again, songwriter, artist. If they have an opinion on how a vocal line or how a melody pass should go, they hum it out. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I heard something in that. I can play it out, and then we just keep going back and forth until we eventually land on something that we both like. So, it's very easy, very seamless in that
Mhm.
regard. Yeah.
Do you get into, like, the vocal production aspect of it when you're collaborating?
Only recently, and I say that because I within like maybe the latter half of 2013 started writing demos like more and like actually posting them and getting feedback on those. So
The
it's
the
been like
way
yeah,
the way you
it's
said
been
that, like, actually.
like, like it's been and thankfully, by God's graces, it's been positive for the most part. Like even to the extent of where I mean, we're going to talk. I'm going to get to your question. I promise. Um,
Take your time.
it's been say okay. I've been blessed to like have even A&Rs or like have the demos that I write potentially land on a artist's record or album, whatever. So in that vein, I've started incorporating more vocals within my own production. Like I'll hum a melody or I'll just do like little small stuff and then tuck it in the beat. Like in truth, I don't have a singing voice. I don't think so. And so auto tune, we locked in like this. We are locked in, and I'll just put a ton of effects on it, and then, like I said, hide it within the beat. So I don't want it to be the forefront of it, but incorporating my vocals and kind of substituting it in the place of like a synth or a lead, if that makes sense. I'll just hum out something and then have that be that. Um, so yeah, that I've done it a little bit now as far as like properly recording an artist. I haven't really tapped into that. It just goes back to one, I'm not physically in the room with somebody to do that. And so it'd be a situation where they'd have to record their vocal somehow and then send it to me. I've done that before many times. But like being present, like somebody sitting next to me and we're like working on a song live, I haven't done that yet. Looking forward to it, but I haven't done it.
Just assuming that that's something
Yeah.
that you're working towards,
Hmm,
being
hmm,
in the
hmm.
studio with people
Yeah.
and being more, like, in an environments where you can access that.
Yep. Yep.
Why is that important for you?
Just overall growth in a sense that I don't want if I can go into a room and be able to do more than just produce, I feel like that'd be an advantage for me. So learning how to properly engineer somebody that's not me, because I have a template for me, but knowing how to at a moment's notice, hey, we need you to load up Pro Tools or FL or whatever and cut some vocals. I feel like the better I learn how to do that, the quicker I learn how to do that, more opportunities will arise for me. Because even there's a small situation, not even situation, where a friend of mine, Outlaw, shout out Outlaw, he had an opportunity in Korea. This is 2 3 years ago. Because he works heavily within the K-pop scene, so he had an opportunity for me to potentially come out there, um, and produce, of course. But he was like, "Well, do you know how to record vocals in FL Studio?" At the time, I didn't. I only no. It was I just didn't have a good grounding and a good sense of how to make it sound well with a beat that I would make in FL. So I told him no. He was like, "Okay, I mean, it'd be good if you knew how to do that just for the sake of it. But production wise, everything's good in that regard." So just relating or relaying back to that kind of situation, moving forward, I love to not have that kind of hindrance. If again
Mhm.
another opportunity arose for me to go to a career or go wherever and have to do more than just produce. So I feel like it just be an overall good thing to know how to do. Like I said, production, I can make it beat on the spot. It's no problem. But having the extra step in fully arranging a song with vocals and proper song structure, all that, I feel like knowing how to engineer it a little bit better than I do now would be a good grace to have. So
Mm. And it's
yeah.
also fun to learn. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
is
honestly
fun.
is. It's like I said, I just wish I could sing. That's my thing. I can do a melody run all day, every day, but my voice, like once it hits a G sharp, it just like we not sister. We're out of here. You got to pack your bags and get somebody else to do this. Go this slow, cause after that,
Can you harmonize?
mm, a little bit. Like, and listen, I say that because I tried, but without the aid of autotune, like carrying me essentially. But it's like I don't know how to belt. I don't have a projecting voice. Like I don't know how it's coming across on over the mic. My voice is very low and it's not like I said. It isn't one that protrudes, and I don't know even for a singer, I'd have to learn properly how to even get to that the chest voice, the head voice, all that the proper terminology. I had to learn how to do that.
Mhm.
I mean, that could be something I could go for one day. But I know. Listen, I'll just say this: I know my range, and I stick to it. And it is not a very like wide range, but I just stick to that for the time being. As long as it gets the job done, I'm good.
Mm. Yeah, it's for me, I love vocals and
Uh huh.
arrangements. Like, I always talk about it 'cause
Yes. Oh, see, listen, I want to join that conversation too. Trust me. Like, do you do a lot of like vocal stacks and harmonies in that manner?
yes, there's like
Yes. See, I love that.
hundreds of
Yes, I
stacks.
love it. I love that, and I really wish I could do that, but my max stack is like 2 to 3.
Just like main
Yep.
double.
Double. Yep.
Not even a
Maybe one.
harmony.
Right. It's me
Ad
mumbling what
lib.
I'm ever saying. Exactly. It's one. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's those. But
It's
yeah.
really fun. Like, for me, what I find enjoyable about it is that it's sounds and music coming from my literal body, and I can
Right.
just design things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I literally have the capacity to design a whole soundscape and
Mm-hmm.
harmonies and make intentional choices with my
Yeah.
own voice, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I know what you mean 100%. So
Yeah.
wait, whenever you're mixing your vocals,
Mhm.
do you do a lot of experimenting? Like, okay, I don't. Just I guess overall making it sound weird, like crazy delays. Like, do you go over the top sometimes with that, or do you just like just mess around with it?
Yeah, I do everything,
Good.
so, like, I went through a phase and I've made samples and
Mm-hmm.
kind of learned production
Uh huh.
because I think that's important being important for me in my process is, like,
Mm-hmm.
with the sound I'm trying to create, how can I use my voice to enrich that sound and experience? I
Mm-hmm.
kinda know I know the sounds that I wanna work with. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, for me, that's directly with my voice. So I end up creating samples where it's literally just my vocals and I'm doing some, like, weird effects with it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, so I've definitely in the past done a lot of processing,
Mm-hmm.
with plugins and
Yeah.
all that type of stuff. But
Okay.
recently, maybe the last couple of years, I've really just been working on recording without anything and just
Oh,
like
okay.
kind of mastering because I've always been able to sing, but
Mm-hmm.
even in that process, like developing different aspects of my voice
Mm-hmm.
has been important. Um, but just not relying on the processing, not relying
Mm-hmm.
on the
Plugins and
plugins or
everything.
the
Yeah.
auto tune. Because I think at
Mm-hmm.
one point my voice just started to get weaker because I was,
Mm-hmm.
like, relying on auto tune and shit.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, "No, we can't do this." Like, if I I need to sing. Like people
Right?
need to hear my
Hear it?
voice. But it what I've really perceived
Mhm,
recently is that because it used to like get to my head how much my voice would fluctuate and change on
mhm,
a day-to-day basis.
mhm.
So it's like one day I'm like, I'm the best singer ever.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
then the next day it's like I can't sing for shit. I can't even sing on fucking key, you
Right.
know?
The key's here and I'm there.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and I'm like, what is this? What is
Yeah.
going on? But then the more that I kind of researched and, you know, learnt
Mhm,
about other singers, it's a normal
mhm,
thing to fluctuate. So
mhm,
I've really taken my voice seriously in the sense of like, I'm not eating dairy. I don't have a
mhm,
desire to eat dairy no more because,
mhm,
like,
mhm.
it
Valid.
really
Mhm.
messes with my voice and,
Uh-huh.
like, just the proper care, like
Mhm.
respecting my voice,
Yeah.
respecting my instrument and not just being like,
Yeah.
because I also think it's like an aspect of aging
Mhm,
where like my voice is changing and my body's changing and like
mhm.
not to say that I'm old, but it's just
Mhm.
like it's the process. Like you're
Yeah.
always changing and you're having to like adjust different
Mhm. Yep.
things and like learn how to take care of yourself and take care of your voice in different ways than you didn't
Mhm.
have to before. Like, because when you're younger, there's more like flexibility. You kind of get
Yeah.
away with more things.
Mhm. Yep. Mhm. Yep. Spot on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give me a second. I'm going to think about what I
You
want to
good.
talk
You
about
good. You good.
next.
You good. What's the hold on this side now? What's the weather like out there now? I see it's sunny.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all in your summer phase, right?
It's summer. It's like the last month of
Yeah.
summer. But,
Yeah.
because I live in the country, so
Uh-huh.
Um, the weather's feels more intense when you're in the
Uh-huh.
country for some
Yeah.
reason, like, the winter is winter.
Winter. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the summer is
Gotcha.
summer, like but actually, it was humid the other day, and it was, like, a
Mhm.
full thunderstorm, and because where I
Mhm.
live, it's, like, surrounded by mountains, so it's like a valley,
Ooh. Yeah.
and the thunder is loud as fuck.
Ow. It just feels like it's entrapped within that.
Yeah, you feel the
Yeah.
ground shaking,
It's
and then
thunder
I, like
or earthquake. Yeah.
yeah, I saw like, I was looking outside when I was watching TV, couldn't even see, like couldn't even see the landscape,
Uh-huh.
but there was lightning, like, I
Yeah.
literally saw the lightning bolt, like, the
Yeah.
literal shape of it,
Shape.
just
Yeah.
I was like, it was too close, I'm like, "I'm not going outside."
Smart.
My god.
Smart choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
My mom was trying to go out in the garden, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, "No, don't go outside,
Sister,
please.
no.
You you're gonna get, like,
The garden
hit."
can wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope. Dope.
So, I wanna ask, because I feel like throughout our life, we go through different phases.
Mhm.
You go through
Mhm.
different arcs, things that you're learning, things that you're
Mhm.
kind of going through, the
Mhm.
lessons. What do you
Mhm.
feel like you're going through right now?
Oof. That's a good question. Give me 1 second. Let me ponder. Because I mean, I say that because my day to day is pretty normal and it's a routine at this point. Wake up for work, work a 9 to 5 job, Monday through Friday. So do that. Boom. After work, go to the gym, be there for an hour or so, get home around. Nobody cares about my routine, but get home late, maybe starting on an idea music wise, and then that's it. It's constant, rinse, repeat. Um, don't really have breaks per se, like vacation breaks or just time away from the day to day. So, like I said, everything is just pretty much a routine, but I'm, I guess, at a point of trying to be consistent in what I'm working on when it comes to music and sonically, and also be consistent, but also kind of venture out outside of my norm in regards to making different kind of music. Like, for instance, um, last month we had a pitch for, I can't say the group, but basically to make a rock song. I never made rock in my life ever, and so trying to trying to do that, but also stay true to my sound and try to like kind of put a piece of me. I'm using air quotations. Put a piece of me into the rock song to where you'd hear it and be like, "Oh, I could see you producing that," like genuinely on a day to day basis outside of this one opportunity. But then, okay, so that, and then trying to, um, I don't know, just be a little bit or try different things from a production standpoint, just a little bit more. Um, yeah, I think that's it. Just being consistent, because I mean, outside of that, I'm not really chasing like a major opportunity or placement right now, so I don't have that pressure on me to do that. Everything has just been free flowing. Whatever I make, I send to my friends, and then they'll do whatever with it. And so it's been like that for a good minute now, honestly. I think so.
That's interesting because
Mhm.
I was looking through your playlist. I was listening
Mhm.
to the playlist that you have on your link,
Mhm. Mhm.
and a lot of it is R&B. So do you feel like
Exactly.
R&B is the main genre that you gravitate
Yeah,
towards?
big time, and plus that's what people ask me for the most. So, if it brings in the attention, the money, the royalties, whatever, Imma keep making it. However, I do have songs or beats on my hard drive that are a little bit more adventurous than that. But the thing is finding the right people to like I can send those to and like have ideas fully fleshed out to where that sound can be associated with me more consistently rather than solely
Mm,
like they're still R&B in a degree, but it's not like your typical, not your standard every day to day R&B that you hear nowadays on playlists. If that makes sense.
I'm curious. I want to hear what it sounds like
Yeah,
now.
listen. If once we get off this, I'll play you a couple for
Okay.
sure. Yeah,
Okay,
I
do
definitely
it.
got some on there. But yeah, see, like, so those I'd love to broadcast them, and I do every now and again. Like whenever I post beats on my story, people like it, but it's like, okay, well, I need for it to go somewhere and be out of my hard drive. I need somebody to write to it and take that chance to step out of their own comfort zone and just attempt it. I'm not going to be mad or upset or anything. I just want listen. That's not to get into it too much, but that's also why I've started writing my own demos because I haven't found again for the most part I have, but there are certain beats, like I said, to where nobody's done, and I've been sitting on it. Nobody's tried anything with it, so it's been like, okay, let me see if I can lay down a hook and see if I have the if it can be possibly done by somebody else. Let me try it. And so
Mm.
yeah.
In your
Hmm.
general experience, do you find artists maybe stick to what they know how to do, or do you think there's artists that are open to like exploring different sounds with you?
Yeah, it's definitely both. I understand them wanting to be comfortable and to a lesser degree play it safe to what they're and be like within the realm of what they're comfortable doing usually, but I try to keep them like in that space but also incorporate certain melodies or certain drum cadences. That's what it's usually the drums that does it. Try to incorporate a different kind of drum cadence that they aren't used to, and it could be kind of off kilter or a bit more up tempo from what they're used to. I'll do that and see if they can push themselves to a stay on beat, b like just flow with it well enough, and like the lyrics we can work on that later. But if they can just get a general sense of the vibe, I guess, then that's cool with me. I don't want to I'm never gonna be like, "Oh, you can't do this, man. You kinda ass." Like, you don't no, I'm never gonna downplay anybody for not being able to, write on a beat or anything like that, but trying to push them to a point to where if they were to present this song to somebody else, to their general fan base, they'll be like, "Oh, this is different from you. I like it." Keep doing that. Keep experimenting and stepping out of what we like. We have the songs that you've already done that are, we like it, but trying something new and giving us something new, something fresh, that's the goal that I'm trying to lean towards a bit more, I think.
I think that's exciting
Uh-huh.
about music because it's nice. I think genres, they obviously there's like patterns in what people are
Mhm.
creating. That's why it becomes like a kind of
Mhm.
stable
Yeah.
genre because you can
Mhm.
identify it through different
Mhm.
like signals or whatever it
Mhm.
is.
Mhm.
Um, but it's really exciting when you can explore with someone or even
Mhm.
just yourself, just
Right.
explore where you can take sounds and
Big
how you
time.
can develop things and like the whole process of
Big
genres. Like
time.
they genres just evolve because we're exposed to
Mhm.
new sounds, new
Mhm.
technology. That's a huge part
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
like how
Yeah.
things develop too.
Yeah. Speaking of, kinda, sorta, have you come across, let's see. It has to do with AI and, like,
Mm.
songwriting with AI, coming up with lyrics or what have you. I don't delve into it that much, so I don't even know how the ChatGPT stuff works like that. But, like, from a songwriter perspective, do you do you use it at all? Or B, whoever you're working with, do y'all use it whenever y'all are working on a song or anything like that?
I haven't really used AI in terms of my creative process or
Mhm.
working with someone, but I know people that do,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
and they say it's like it's great just for references or just to like
Mm,
spark an
mhm.
idea and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people, especially maybe creative purists, they're
Yeah.
just so anti AI.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't feel that way. Like I was not that I was shocked, but I was like, wow, people viscerally feel
Yeah.
a
They
negative
hate it.
way about it.
Yeah. They hate it.
How do you feel about it?
Oh, man. Okay. From a production standpoint, because I don't like I said, I don't use it, but I have whenever just an example. Whenever I'll go to a friend, fourth note's house, or whenever we work on music, it's usually when we're done with like we don't use it to actually make a beat, if that makes sense. We use it more so to, at the very least, find songs that have acapellas within the same key or BPM to what we're working on, and then we'll get an acapella that way. So we're using it to just to find something rather than having it assist us in our actual creative process, I feel
Mhm.
like. And so that's the only context I have with it. But I have seen just like through Instagram reels of people like making full songs with Party Next Door vocals, Rihanna vocals, all these things. I d I don't have an issue with it, but I can see how people can. I wouldn't do it, but
Yeah.
if you per se will, like, if you make a beat and wanna hear Party Next Door on it, and you can't physically get the beat to Party.
Funny.
Right. I could see how it'd be tempting to be like, "Okay, let me just cut some vocals and then tweak it to sound like Party, just for this
Mm.
beat." Would I post it and, like, advertise it? Like,
Ew.
part that's the part too. The advertising of it is crazy. That's the part that I think is what pisses people off of, like, being like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, we got this beat for Party," and he wrote this song to it when, no, this is AI, clearly.
Yeah.
So, that aspect, I get how people can be upset, but using it just to have an idea of what somebody could sound
Mm.
like on the record, I'm more lenient on that.
Mm.
So that's honestly, yeah, the only perspective I can speak to when it
I
comes to that.
feel that.
Uh-huh.
I agree because when that specific technology was like being shown more
Y
public, I was like, I
yeah.
didn't feel a good way
Yeah.
about it. Like
Yeah.
people maybe it's because 'cause I'm a singer, so I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I'm very protective of my voice.
Of
I
your
don't
right, yeah.
people let me I get protective if people ask me to be their freaking tag, you know? Produce a
Really?
tag.
Okay.
Yeah,
Really?
cause
Okay,
like,
okay.
no, it's the way people go about it.
Mhm.
I've experienced people who are very entitled, you know?
Okay, yeah.
So, but I actually have done a producer tag for someone.
Okay.
So it's
Now
like,
was it
I'm like,
yeah, was it just
that
you
was a
saying their
friend.
name? Okay, okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
It was a friend, so it's different. But it's
Yeah.
like I remember I was on Clubhouse and
Yeah. Oh,
this
brother. Oh,
person this
okay.
person followed me just because of my voice. And then like later was just constantly I said no, like I don't want to
Right.
I don't know anything
I know
about you.
you. Like,
Like I
yeah,
don't know
right.
you. I don't
Yeah.
want you to use my voice, but he kept pressing me. And I'm
Oh
like,
no.
It's
Mhm.
disrespectful." Like he's like, "Oh, it's just part of like the producer culture. Like people do it here. Like I'm just like, that's not the point.
Right. Yeah. That
This is my
producer culture.
property, like my intellectual
Exactly.
property."
Exactly.
Anyways, so
Mm-mm.
like I already feel a type of way about people feeling entitled in general.
Yeah.
Um, so like if I heard people were trying to use my voice
Yeah. I feel
and
like that.
posting it,
Yeah. As in like an official release. That's crazy.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
crazy to me. Yeah.
that's weird. That's weird.
Oh man. Uh.
But other than that, I feel like with I used to feel more fearful about what it
Mhm.
could do. Um, over the last few years, and just I think a lot of it is belief systems because I
Mhm.
also feel like people don't think that AI has soul in it or like
Mhm.
it's just this
I see
lifeless
that.
thing.
Yeah.
But my perspective is that it's an extension of us, like we're creating it. So it's
Mhm.
like I feel like we should give it respect in that sense. Like
Okay.
this is a
Okay.
relationship where we're
Yeah.
literally creating this thing and we're building a relationship with it.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
going to
Mhm.
get to a point where it's going to function as its own system,
Thing.
like,
Yeah.
in
Mhm.
and how it's integrated into society. So
Mhm.
I don't see technology as not natural. Like
Mhm.
it's evolution.
Yeah.
Technology has always been there. This is just the
Mhm.
path that we're going down. So I know
Mhm.
that might be triggering for some people,
Mhm.
for a lot of people. but but like we have to decide
Yeah.
how we're going to have a relationship with things because that's
Yeah.
going to influence how it ends up manifesting and how we utilize it and
Mhm.
what we can evolve into as humans.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And like I feel like people too, like they do have the choice in wanting to use it, be involved with it, or interact with it. Like personally for me, I don't like I said, I just don't use it on my day to day. I
Mm.
don't need to.
Mm.
And I'm even generally don't know how it works, to be completely truthful. That's also why I don't use it. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
So I just let people do their thing when it comes to that.
I just use like the extent that I'm using it is just like Chat GPT
Yeah.
or because it actually has been helping me with my world building just in terms of organizing all the information and
Mm-hmm, hmm.
generating ideas. Like
Yeah.
it's the process of my ideas interacting with it and it
Hmm.
giving me feedback on what it's interpreting of my
Mm,
world and what I'm trying to
hmm.
build. So it's
Okay.
like then I can it's like just a good kind of foundation and reference and then I can just keep building and exploring
Yeah.
different ideas. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's how I use
Okay.
it in world
Yeah.
building and like just
Yeah.
organizing my life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's useful. That's genuinely useful.
Yeah.
Cool. Interesting. Okay.
Let's talk about maybe some more of your experiences in the music industry
Okay.
because you're in North Carolina right now, if I'm
South.
correct? South
South. Close.
Carolina.
Listen,
Yeah.
everybody, this is a common, not even a mistake because it's easy to get the two misconstrued sometimes. But yes, South Carolina. Um, I am roughly 3 hours, like a straight drive from Atlanta, Georgia, which is the popular scene when it comes to hip hop, rap, all those things. So I I go down there from time to time, not too often, like maybe on a weekend, and I usually like schedule a studio session with a friend of mine, Zamir. Shout out again, a name I meant to mention earlier. God, he's gonna kill me. A name I meant to mention earlier is Zamir. Um, 'Cause he stays in Georgia, so it's roughly a 3-hour drive from him too. But we would over the years set out a day to where we will go down to Atlanta for a day, spend the day there, sightsee a tiny bit, but primarily just be in a studio session. And that's genuinely how, for the past few years, how I would go about doing sessions. Like because I'm not flying like to LA or things like that too much anymore. And even like maybe 2021, 2022, I would do that, fly to LA, stay there a max of 5 days, and then try to try to weed my way like through friends that may have studio sessions out there. They'd ask me to come through, and I'll show up and just be there and just work a little bit, but then just overall just be an extra ear if I'm not working too much on anything. But that's how my experience has been because I've never been. That's a lie. Uh, and I'm trying to, cause like it's been a while. It's genuinely been a while. And I'm a homebody, so I usually just work at home or go again to Fourth Note's house and we'll make something there. I'm not like dealing with labels flying me out per se, or like having meetings with a project head to work with a certain artist. The that's not on my call sheet as of right now. Um, so everything is primarily internal, i.e., working in my room or going to a friend's house or just Discord. That's also been a good thing as of late. Working on beats via Discord with some people. Um, so like I wish I had like more stories to say, like giving my experience in a studio setting, but it's honestly I'd work. The artist would be there. We would just have fun, general conversation, getting to know them, things like that. But outside of that, that's really it. I
Mhm.
don't really party like that. Um, so like going to after shows or going to concerts, I haven't really done that too much. Well, no, I haven't. Um, but yeah, just pretty much a homebody, honestly.
Hmm. I'm the
Yeah.
same.
Yes, listen, girl. I listen. This is my domain. Okay.
And it's a
This y'all.
vibe too.
You feel me? You gotta get. I got a
Yeah.
candle over here. Got the LED
Yeah.
lights across back here.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful. Mwah. I like comfortability. Okay, I'm all
Yeah.
about comfort. Even when I go to studio sessions, I'm not going to be dressed down to the nines. I'll have on some sweats, some slides, a hoodie, a bandana. Even if my hair is terrible, and then that's it. Like, because I don't feel the need to add an additional sense of pressure, especially if I'm, for instance, called in for a session with an artist I haven't worked with before. So you have to build from the ground up. Okay, my name's Ashley. This is what I like to make. I'm comfortable within this realm. However, if you have an idea on what you want to do, we can try to blend and go from there. Adding any extraness from like what I look like or just I don't know, extra things to that I don't feel is necessary for me. Um and so like hoodie, sweats, like I said, and I'm chilling, genuinely, like genuinely. So yeah, that's me to a T, honestly.
Have you had any weird experiences with people in the music industry or just like
I get what you mean.
yeah.
Give me a second. Um, weird. Okay, weird. Honestly, no, because there are horrible stories out there, and I don't have anything that remotely close. The only closest thing that I considered weird at a point in time is where this may have been in the calendar, maybe 2 3 years ago, where an artist I was, and I still work with them, but an artist I work with his engineer that he's known for years now, and I've met the engineer in person when I went up to the city. I'm trying to be vague. Trying to be vague. When I went up to the city, so and I'll never forget it, random Tuesday. I think I'm off work this day. I gotta give you some context. I gotta give you the details. I'm off work this day. I get a DM from said engineer. Hey, I didn't even post. Sorry, I don't even think I posted a story, so it's not like he was replying to anything that I had done. Just out the blue this one morning. I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember word for word. But he's like, "What's up, Ashley?" I was like, "Hi." I mean, like we don't. I don't listen. I don't talk to this guy. I talk the artist. Yeah, that's my brother. But the engineer, I don't communicate. The last post is when our last line of communication was when 2021 he had responded to my story, and this is an entire year later when he's talking to me now, out the blue. Hey, what's good, Ash? I said, hey, what's up? And he's like, yo, we made some fire babies.
Sorry, what?
Like,
Oh, I think
you
you
hear me?
just cut out for a second, but
Sorry. Okay, we good. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it was just a second.
Okay. No, I didn't say anything. Speechless. So I was like,
The fuck?
and I said, are you drunk right now? Because he had a tendency not to overexpose, but like just judging from what the artist would say, even in session, he'd be drunk sometimes, which is something in its own right. But so I was like, yo, are you drunk? He was like, no, I think we like really make some fire kids one day. And I screenshotted that and I sent it to the artist. I was like, get your mans. And then I blocked them. I to this day, I obviously haven't spoken to him. I blocked them, unfollowed him, and just left it at that. And I was like, I told my homie, can you please, like, I don't know if this is like a drunk night or something, but talk to your guy, because who's to say I see you again in person? We have a studio, us three are in a studio session, and then of course in the session you're going to be in the booth. I'm in here with him. Who's to say what could happen then? So I was like, just cut this off right now, and then let that be that. So he handled it. Like I said, I haven't spoken to the engineer since then. I assume they're still cool. Like he still cuts record or is recording him, but that's honestly the extent. Like even when I would post actively on YouTube way back when, I get the occasional, "Oh, your voice is sexy," because this is again, there was no face to it, so it was just my voice. I would get those occasionally, but it's like, okay, thanks. Could that be it? But like, so yeah, like outside of that, thankfully, I haven't experienced anything that I'm sure some other people have experienced before. But yeah, how about you? Have you? Oh, that was a sign right there. All right, detail whatever you can share.
What I was gonna say though,
Okay.
I watched some of your beat breakdowns, and you do have a
Yeah.
calming voice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's a calm one. It can't sing, but it's a very calm voice. Yes, thank you.
I don't know. I've experienced a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
I will say,
None too bad, I hope.
not in a way where it was like fully traumatic in terms of like industry people,
Right.
but I have had producers.
It's always, not always, but continue. Go ahead.
DM me and just like want to FaceTime me and like pay me to see me.
Why are people so weird?
Yeah. So that's one thing.
All right, how do people just like on Instagram approach you? Because I ask, like, say somebody finds me off of a reel that I post. Usually it's let's work, not even like a hello. Like I don't even get the common courtesy of a hello. It's simply let's work or you're dope. We're gonna make a lot of heat together. And I was like,
How do you know
what?
that?
Right. I don't know you. So and I'm like, I'm not the type to honestly, and it could be a fault. I don't really go out of my way to like look into people, especially like if I'm getting reached out via DM, and I hardly check that as is, especially when it gets sent to that other random folder. I hardly check it. So when I do and I see that, and it's strictly like a less work. It's no like, hi, my name is yada yada yada. I make this. I like your sound. I think can we collab? Like that feels somewhat genuine for the most part. But the other ones that are just, yo, I'm gonna send you something. What's your email? I'm like, my email is flooded as is for one. Secondly, I don't. Oftentimes too, and I'm kind of venting a little bit, so feel free to interrupt.
Get
But
your shit off.
like,
Like, talk
no,
about
because
it.
like, not all. I haven't had it in a while, thankfully. But in those scenarios where people ask for my email, I don't mind it. Trust me, I like collaborating. I'm just saying that I like collaboration. I am completely up for it. But I can tell when you're reaching out to me because of I had probably just dropped something with an artist and you like what you heard, which is fair. That's not bad at all. But then you see it as an opportunity for me to get you a placement, which it depends on your intentions. Because again, I like to work, and if you're whatever you send me is cool, I'm always down. Or I'm typically down. But there have been times where I would say yes. Here's my email. You send me something that I never make anything within the genre of what you're sending me, and it's usually like the like up tempo, gritty hip hop trap stuff that like Nardo Wick and just like yeet beats and things like that. And I'm like, do you even listen to what I do? Like respectfully, do you listen to what I do? Which okay, that's one thing. But then they'll be persistent and be like, "Yo, did you listen to what I sent you? Have you checked out what I don't know you. So why are you pressing me like I don't have a life? Like I make beats every single day, which I do not. I'm not listening for loops or everything every single day. So you're bombarding me on top of again, it goes back to I don't know you. Like genuinely, you could be and within your own circle, you could be the best producer. But I don't know you. You haven't given me any inclination of why I respectfully should work with you, and like our sounds would mesh or like we'd feed off of our each other's ideas or anything like that. You haven't given me anything. You just asked for my email. And so I think that goes into a greater or bigger issue or just a common thing, because trust me, I hear even from friends that get the similar um kind of communication with people very, very often, to where somebody will reach out more on a opportunist type of time rather than like I genuinely want to work with you. And that's what I think that's what gets me. Like if you genuinely like are into it, like you're a fan or you like the sound that I'm making, and then you can see yourself being a good balance or a good counterpart to that. That I have zero issue with. Zero. I've met a good bit of my friends that way actually. But like the opportunist approach to where I just like land something, you see it, but out of nowhere you send me stuff solely because of what I just released. That is like, okay, I see where your intentions are. So
Yeah,
that's
you
all.
can feel it.
Sorry, I just
No, don't
it's,
apologize. Cause
and then yeah.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just like I can always tell them, they'd be like, yo, what's good, bro? My face is right here. I'm like respectfully, hey Ashley, just call me Ashley. Not, hey, what's good, dog? What's good, bruh? Like,
Bro.
bro, what's good, dude? What's good, bro? That's the. If I don't know you, then like, continue. Sorry, go ahead.
I feel you. I think like that's something that has really annoyed me for the longest time. Is
Mhm.
like because you can and sense just like people's intentions. Even if it's
Right.
just like a DM,
Mhm.
I feel like I don't know, I'm intuitive and not to say that
Mhm.
I know everything, but it's like just the way people approach it and the details
Mhm.
around what they're doing, it
Right.
just it's just obvious a lot of the
Very much
time.
so.
And
Yeah.
one thing, because like I was saying before, I'm very protective over my voice and my art,
Mhm.
and like
Mhm.
uh, f- I know for the longest time I felt like people were only trying to get me a part of what they're doing because it leverages them. But
Mhm,
like I understand that's the nature of like collaborations.
mhm,
Like you can leverage each other. Like
mhm,
there's some type of value in the exchange with people.
mhm,
But I don't like when you know that people are doing it for their own selfish reasons, not because they like genuinely respect you or like value what you do.
mhm,
I think there was a point where there was like, even with some of the stuff I would post on Instagram and just share like just little snippets and stuff.
mhm,
But because I share some like vocals and like arrangements that I do,
mhm.
it's like producers would want to collab with me, but I don't know.
Yeah,
It's annoying just
yeah,
the energy of it, cause and
yeah.
also I so I don't like to make things about, like, me being a woman,
Mhm.
but there is that aspect
Talk
of
about
it,
it. Talk about it. Go
you
ahead.
know? There is
Yeah,
that aspect of it.
yeah.
So it's like, I kind of had to stop making or just reframing the way I even saw myself, because going into it, like, obviously I'm a woman,
Mhm,
but I wasn't moving in my relationships or moving through my career in the
mhm,
industry thinking the whole time that I'm a woman, like,
mhm. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but then that started
Mhm.
to infest my reality.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I get you.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like I would get frustrated about that, but
Mhm.
I was like, okay, let me detach from this narrative, whatever's going on.
Yeah.
And I think it's like important to put boundaries around. Um,
Mhm.
I don't I used to be more intense about just calling people out and shit in the DMs and stuff because I don't like to like publicly shame people in that way.
Mhm. Mhm.
I understand there are some cases where you might want to share what's going on
Yeah.
publicly.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
like I feel like that's extreme circumstances, but
Mhm.
just like putting boundaries around it, and then people get upset, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Like, if
Period. Come
you
on.
wanna work
Right.
with me,
Right. Respect me. Hey, let's start there.
there's a process.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Exactly. And value my time too. Like, ugh, this understand for like, and I try to be transparent, especially with people that I don't typically collaborate with. Like I said earlier, I'm not making beats every single day. So if your intention on sending me an idea every single day, you can do that, but please understand I'm not gonna drop what I'm doing at a moment unless it's like urgent, urgent, which oftentimes it's not. If it's not urgent, urgent, I'm not gonna stop what I'm doing at a moment's notice to work on this. Because I have in the past done that. Like I would get a prompt or something, and it's usually from like a connect that's on the West Coast. So again, I'm 3 hours ahead. I'm in bed. This is a work night for me. I have to get up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. But then I'll get hit with the prompt. Yo, can you make like we need such and such done for a deadline that's tomorrow morning, not tomorrow morning, but like in 2 days or something. It's like, okay, well, it's one like I said, it's 1 o'clock. I'm tired. You're sending me this like it's a good hour for you. This is sleeping hours for me. And so, like I said, I in the past I have gotten up out of bed and then like started working on things like that. But nowadays, I'm learning to pick and choose what will better fit me like mentally, and not overstress myself or overcomplicate myself mentally. Overexerting is the proper word. um Myself for something that I know it's just gonna fall through and not really go anywhere. Um so yeah, just trying to find that balance too of knowing knowing working on things that I see will come out or just see the light of day and not just be tucked anywhere too. 'Cause, like, we have so many songs to where just staying up late and like structuring and doing all these things on these songs that like you're contacting me super late and you want this done super soon and you weren't even going to use it or drop it or anything like that. That just goes back to when I said I don't like my time wasted because at that point I feel, and it's not like intentional on their part, but I feel like I just don't like that because that's sleep. That's 2 3 hours of sleep I could have had. Now I'm at
Mhm.
work falling asleep because I was working
Yeah.
on this. You weren't going to use
Yeah.
it. I'm deadbeat tired now, so
Mm.
those kind of things subtly, what I say, grinds my gears. So
Yeah. I know what you mean, like, it speaks to this, especially with, uh, the music industry and
yeah,
the nature of it, like, it's not on a 9 to 5 timeline. It's like
exactly,
people
exactly.
there's just different timelines, and
Mm-hmm.
I think you really gotta clarify what your boundaries are. Because I think in
Mm-hmm.
some circumstances, if you're
Yeah.
feeling an inclination towards someone or a project, like, you might
Mm-hmm.
do something extra, or, like, you
Yeah.
might be willing to have those
Mm-hmm.
more sleepless nights and stuff, but,
Right. Yeah.
like, I can relate in the sense that I used to probably do too much. Um, I would overextend myself for people who weren't in the realm of, like, matching what that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I found that the more that I've put boundaries around what I do, the more
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of been able to call in people who respect that,
Yeah.
and, like,
Yeah.
how it's it's not just on their time. Like, we
Mm-hmm.
find the timeline together, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense. Exactly. Yes. 100% relate. 100% agree. Yeah.
I know, was it a year or 2 ago you went to Australia?
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw on
20,
Twitter.
20. Ah, yeah, I was tweeting about it. 20. All right. So I I went. I listen. I was excited for this trip. Okay, went May of 2023 for a week. I want to say a week with my mom. So we went out there. Listen, for one, travel. I'm flying out from the East Coast, so we flew East Coast up north to Washington, Washington across country to LA, and then LA to Sydney. Forgot well over 20 hours. I forgot the exact time. But getting there and like I don't know, like I mentioned earlier before the call, just being immersed within a different atmosphere. Again, going back
Yeah.
to the roads, it's like it's the simple stuff that you wouldn't even think about. So, like crossing the street, like of course for us, we had to look left, right. But then I'm over in Australia. I'm looking left, right. The car's not even coming. Ashley, look this way first, and then like no, going right to left. Okay, cool. What else? Just certain verbiage on like the signs and things like that. I got the loo. No, not the loo. What do y'all call it? What do y'all call a toilet? I feel it's not the loo, but it was
The
something else. I don't
toilet
remember.
or the
You call
loo.
it, yeah. I don't remember what it was,
I
but just certain verbiage that was
Mhm.
slightly different. Um, no, y'all stalls go all the way down to the floor in the public
Yeah,
setting. Here,
yeah, and, I was traumatized when because I went to, like, Miami. I was on Miami Beach,
yeah, you on the East Coast. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
and, like, I went into the public stores, I'm like, "What the hell?
Right.
People can just, like, see right through, what the fuck?" I didn't know how that's normal, like, how?
Is I don't get it either. I do not get it. But yeah, that and then gosh, I don't know. It was just an overall good experience. As much so that I came back again late November that same year for a little over a week. So I was in Sydney both times, but the first time so I stayed on the Darling Harbor. Forget the hotel name, but I stayed there and then the Crown Hotel. I think that's what it's called. at the Darling Harbor. So that general area, pretty nice, right by the water, peaceful for the most part. Overall was a good time. I met do you know Billy Marie?
But she's
No,
in
of
the
her.
music scene, yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah. So befriended her a year before that. So flew out there, hung out with her. Peter, I met another guy named AY, and I just met some genuine cool people while I was out there.
yeah, I
It
know
was
AY,
awesome.
he's cool.
Yeah, AY's dope. Shout out. Met him, and then so like I said, we were over at his crib one day just talking, making music, whatever, and just getting a sense of what the music scene was like over there. Because prior to that, I had outside of Billy, I didn't know anybody. But
Mhm.
I did music over there. Um, so they just put me onto a few acts. I went to the first time. I think her name was Pania,
Anya.
Pania. Pania went to one of her shows at the Sydney Opera House. They took me to that. I was like, okay, this is cool. First time, obviously, at the Sydney Opera House, which is cool.
I haven't
Um,
even, been to, like, any type of show there.
uh,
What
well,
was
that's
that
dope.
like?
Busy. It wasn't in the main opera house. It's some kind of side room. I'm. It was a bit bigger than that. Like it was a good setting, and the overall atmosphere was very very nice. But yeah, it wasn't like the main room within it. It was cool. I will say though, not regarding that concert, but a few nights towards the end of my trip, Billy had an EP listening party, and it was it started like around 10 p.m. I had a flight the next morning back to America, early flight. But I mean, of course, I'm gonna show up for the sister. So got there, and I tell you, my social anxiety went overdrive because A, it's late. B, I know a handful of people, if that, here. Everybody's tall. I'm short. So everybody's towering over me. It's in a dark setting. Like the room where she was playing the music and everything was there, and then you have a bar area. And so people started feeling in fast. I had gotten a seat by the DJ booth with AY and them. And so again, I don't really know anybody here. So it's like sparking general conversation. It was it was cool, but then the conversation would be, "Oh, how's America? How's it differ from here?" That's me. Like it's late. I'm getting kind of tired. My anxiety's going up. Like I said, everybody's overpowering me. I'm trying to hold on to this little stool that I
Overpowered.
got. Everybody, like I got somebody. Oh Lord, I forget her name. Very nice girl. She's an artist too. Starts with a T. Thandi, I want to say if I'm mispronouncing. I'm sorry, but she offered to buy me drinks, which shout out to her. But then we got to the bar. Again, everybody starting mingling. Everybody's talking. I lost my seat that I was hovering over the whole night. So I was like, oh, my, I don't want to try to stand over nobody. And luckily, I managed to get it back. So I know. I just wanted to mention that because my anxiety was through the roof. And I remember on my second trip, me and Billy had went out to dinner one night, and I was telling her like, "You're your concert. I don't think I could do any kind of thing like that again, just for my mental and like she's like, yeah, it was kind of crazy, but no, just like I don't know, just experiencing because I don't really go like even in America, I don't really go to events like that. Just also being where I'm from in my city, it's just not a lot like that. Um, and so I don't venture out in that regard. So doing that, showing up for friends or whatever, that's not a problem. But just being in a setting in an entire country where I don't know anybody, that's what got me. If I knew people there outside of like 5 people, then I would have been like a little bit more open and things like that. But I was like, bro, nobody knows me, which is it's not a problem. But I don't know them, so
Mm,
it was
mm,
just a unique feeling. I'll say that. But
yeah,
overall, cool. I love Sydney. I would love to go back to Australia, big time.
yeah. I'm in Melbourne, and so, like, I'm in the country, like, 4
Mhm.
hours away from Melbourne, but I grew up
Yeah.
in Melbourne, and all of
Uh-huh.
that has its own music scene and stuff. But I've been
Yeah.
to Sydney. I actually lived in Sydney for about 3 months, and I
Uh-huh.
was like even before that, I would travel up there and see my friends. So I know a few people out there, but yeah, like, if you come down to Australia next time, come to Melbourne.
Listen, I forgot to mention, I have a couple friends that live in Melbourne, but they flew up to Sydney to meet me,
Mm,
my first time. But they were saying like, "Yeah, you should come to Melbourne." And so yeah, that I'd love to go there because it looks beautiful from all accounts of pictures and everything that I've seen. It looks really, really fun actually.
it's a beautiful city, and
Yeah.
it's like there's a mix between, like, there's the inner city,
Yeah.
but then it's because it's on the coast, so there's, like, beaches and stuff.
Mhm.
I feel like Sydney has that too
Mhm.
as well, but,
Mhm.
yeah, it's just you go to different neighborhoods, there's different things you can experience, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's what they told me about Sydney too. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'd love to go back. Trust me, if God allows the finances align, if I can make it back over there, because I mean, in truth, going to Australia 2 times in a year is crazy work, for even for me. Like, going the first time with my mom, that was cool, but going the second time by myself, that was
Mhm.
my first time going like, leaving the country solo. I mean
Mm.
leaving
I
the
was gonna
country the
ask
first time.
that.
Yeah, so the first time we went, we got our passports, like, maybe 2 or 3 months before that trip. I'm lying. Maybe 5 or 6 months before that trip. But, yeah, first time leaving the States, so I genuinely did not know what to expect, but luckily, traveling-wise, everything went smoothly that first time. The second time, though, was crazy because roughly the same travel route where I would leave my city in South Carolina and fly up to Washington. However, my flight leaving my city was kind of delayed. So that was one thing, but my flight that was gonna go from Washington to San Francisco this time had gotten canceled. I didn't find out about it
Oh
until I
my
was
gosh.
kinda I think was leaving South Carolina, like, an hour or so later. So, all in all, I had to spend the night in Washington, had to pay for a hotel randomly. I didn't get vouchered that night, so I had to pay out of pocket for a hotel. My suitcase is stuck at the airport, so I only had my bag with my laptop on it or in it. Going to the hotel, so I was like, "Bruh, I gotta wash. How am I gonna brush my teeth? I can't go anywhere, or I can, but there's money, and I can't like there's no
Mm,
general stores in the area." And so that was a major, major hiccup. Luckily, by the grace of God, I had an amazing travel agent, Barbara, who I had called her like, "Please let the hotel know I'm be coming a day later because I'm still in America." And so she got everything situated in that front. But man, like all of that solo is, and like I said, I've traveled solo before, but it's another thing to have that on my back leaving the country. If I'm going to
mhm.
Atlanta or going to New York and that happens, it's like, okay, cool. I have family here or I know people here to I can contact them. But going to Australia and without my suitcase, I was panicking. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I was panicking. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. What is Atlanta like from your experience?
It's it's cool. I'm gonna expand on that. I'm gonna expand on that. I say that because I outside of this past year, I had went there for more than one day. I think I was there for like 2 or 3 days with some friends that we all convened down there. I'm going to do some more shout outs to Zamir, Chizzy, and Liam. I went out, we all met because Liam, from Florida, from Chizzy, Chicago. We all met there just to hang out and like properly meet in person because I've known Zamir the longest out of the bunch, but I've known them for a while now. So us like being in a proper setting and like talking to each other and just having a good time was cool. That's what made Atlanta fun. But outside of that, I'm never there long enough to just venture outside of or just venture or tour per se the city. I'm usually there like meeting with Zamir for a studio session for 2 to 3 hours in the morning time and I drive back home. And that is to a point because like I want to go back home. But two, I don't like being out in places, Atlanta or otherwise, where I could be vulnerable. And it
Mm,
becomes more of a safety thing with me because I'm driving my own car, black woman by myself. Um, and like I have valuables that could be deemed
mm,
robbable, and I just to say it. And so being out in a city like Atlanta, which good city, but it has its faults. And so I was like, it's like I said, it's more of a safety thing. If I'm not staying there overnight somewhere, I'm driving back home. And like I said, it's only a 3-hour drive, just straight shot, so that's not really an issue. But to answer your question, I don't really venture out whenever I am in Atlanta outside of a studio session to give like a full-fledged answer. The time last year, I think when I was with Chizzy and them, we went bowling and to like a night venue, like DJ event. That was fine. And then that was pretty much it. And just went to get food. But like the city's nice. The people that I know there are nice. Um, that's always the experience I can speak
Mhm.
to, honestly. And
Mm.
again, it's different for everybody because I haven't really gone there for music in regards to like working with people outside of who I already know. I can't say like personality wise or give a sense on what the music scene is to a proper sense
Mm.
yet. I say that yet. If I get blessed with an opportunity to go down there for a label pitch or something, cool. But it just hasn't happened for me yet so far.
I haven't been there, but I'd like to go. To I wanna go to different cities in America
Mhm,
because I feel
mhm,
like I always say this, but it's like you're going into different pockets of, like,
mhm.
culture in different
Yeah,
cities. So
yeah,
it's really cool. I loved being in Florida, in Miami, and
yeah.
just experiencing, like, because I feel like it brings out different sides of you. Not that
Mhm.
you're not that you're acting different or being, like,
Yeah,
different, it's just, like, it brings something
yeah.
out of you
You're
that's
exposed
already
to something
there.
different. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Wait, okay, so what are your top 3 cities you wanna go to if you had to choose?
In the world or in America?
Or in America, yeah, in America.
Um, I really loved Miami, so I actually would probably spend a lot of time there at
Mhm.
some point.
Yeah.
Um, I'd want to go to Houston just
Yeah.
because, like, I'm a huge Beyoncé fan.
Yeah, that's very valid. Yes, very valid.
Yeah,
And I've heard good things about Houston, yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I know just, like, witnessing Beyoncé and just how much she puts her culture into her music.
Mhm.
I've really appreciated that, so I kinda wanna
Mm,
go experience what
mhm.
Houston is like.
Yeah, yeah, see it for yourself, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Okay.
and probably,
Interesting.
like, I wanna go everywhere, but I'll probably like to experience New Orleans too, because
Yes,
I know the
yes.
music is different there.
That is culture to a T, yeah.
Mm,
In every sense. Food, especially food. Music, yeah,
mhm.
yeah. Those are good choices.
Yeah, yeah. But, like, I feel like America has so much to offer,
Mhm,
and in
mhm,
different places you get different things. So it's like,
mhm.
uh, yeah, that's what I find attractive about
Yeah,
America.
fair. Okay,
And
valid.
also because the music and they have a large music industry. It's like
Sure,
the
yeah.
freaking center of the music
Right, the
industry in
mecca of
the
music.
world. Yeah, literally. So I definitely wanna, because I feel like in Australia, I've had my experiences,
Mhm,
obviously working at a record label. It was independent record label,
mhm.
but we had an artist, I'm not sure if you know Kait,
Can you spell it? Wait.
Kait.
I don't think so.
Well, she was an artist that was signed to the label, and she kind of blew up in a really big way here in Australia, and
Mhm,
then reached international audiences too.
uh-huh,
So, like, um, even though it was independent label, I was exposed to a lot.
mhm,
I
uh-huh.
was and just, like, meeting different industry people and going to different settings and, like, yeah, it was just really interesting, very
Yeah,
interesting, and that's, like, kind of what activated a lot of why I do what I do. Cause
yeah.
yeah.
Interesting. It's
But what I was gonna say was my point was that I've experienced what I've experienced here, And I've
Yeah.
always felt like the next step is to go to America because I feel like that's a very different
Mhm.
environment. And I'm just so interested to see how people would receive me. Just being a foreigner, being, Australian. And I also feel like this is not to generalize, but there's a different kind of energy that Americans have. Like when I was there, and it depends on the person, but I feel like the energy is more intense, like
Yeah.
in how people communicate and how
Mhm.
people are navigating things.
Yeah. That is absolutely right.
Yeah, so I kind of want to be exposed to that and experience that in a real tangible way. Cause
Mhm.
yeah, it's exciting to me. I'm not like scared about it
Yeah.
at all.
Would you wanna go to New York?
Yeah, of course. I know
Okay.
some people in New York as well.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, because that is hustle and bustle personified to a T, and that's like, being a Southerner myself, my day-to-day is not that fast paced compared to, like, because I actually just came back from New York, well, last weekend, right. So and I wasn't in the city, like, any of the boroughs, Brooklyn or anything like that. I was outside in Long Island, so just outside the city. But when I was in New York a couple of years ago, I did stay, like, in I didn't stay in, but I would venture through Bronx, the typical cities or that you hear. Um, Harlem, I would just pass through them. But that trip, I did have a couple sessions with a few friends up there, Janelle, a day, all these people. But like even just being in that environment, not just a studio environment, but just like walking the streets is very, very fast paced and very intimidating. I'm not gonna lie. It's very for me, because again, I
Mhm.
am very to myself. Again, everything is quiet here where I'm at. It's a lot slower and it's not I'm speaking for me. It's not like it doesn't present the attitude of I need to go get it. Like I need to
Yeah.
like just project myself in a more intimidating and more confident, respectfully, a confident way
Mhm.
to where I need to have this kind of persona to get what I need to do. It's not like that on my day to day. So going up there and seeing it for myself and like just even driving, which I foolishly did, the attitudes and the honking and just like it's so much commotion, which again, if you're not used to it, it can be like for me intimidating. But I respect it nonetheless because that having that confidence to go about yourself in a like I know what I want, determined attitude, I admire because
Mhm.
I don't think I have that yet. So New York, shout out.
Shout out
To
to New
summarize all that.
York.
Right. To summarize all that. Shout out New York.
Yeah, it's it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. But the thing is, like, I feel like confidence. If we want to speak about confidence, it's
Mm,
also it's not like because I feel like being in that type of environment, it could breed a lot of different type of things and
yeah.
insecurities and fears in people. So I think part of it is an act. Like so when I went to Florida, one of my friends was saying like cuz I had a good time. Like I was like
Mhm.
the people are nice and
Yeah.
all of that and like people were talking to me on the street. That's not what you get here in Australia. Like people will talk to you, but we're
Yeah.
not in your business or anything like that for the most part. In
Yeah.
America, people are just
Everybody
like
wants to know what you got going on.
what I would say is my friend was saying like they seem nice, but a lot of people are acting. And I could feel that. Like there's an openness, but so there was this one woman on Miami Beach and she was kind of how do I say this? She was like promoting her music and stuff. I was walking past and she was trying to talk to me. I was like,
Uh-huh.
okay, let me listen to what she has to say.
Yeah.
And I was like, she was showing me her music on her phone.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'm like, "Oh, do you have, Instagram or anything?"
Right.
Because she was trying to, like, get money.
Yeah, okay.
Like, to support her music and stuff, and
Right.
I was open to it. I don't have a problem with that type
Mhm.
of stuff. So she was showing me, and I'm like, "Oh, do you have anything that I could follow you on?" 'Cause, I was just being nice, and she was like, "Nah, I'm not on social media, but, like, if you wanna support, you can, donate some money and stuff." So, like, we were going through that process. I was like, "Okay, let me give her, like, $20."
Ooh, it sounds like a scam already. I'm sorry.
I know,
Sound like a scam
but, like
already.
no, 'cause she was showing me her music, but I was like, I don't go into things like it was only $20, do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
like people were
Not a big
scamming
loss.
me out of my
Yeah,
freaking identity.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So and I was on a holiday. I was just let's do
Vibing,
it.
yeah.
I was like super
Let
mojitos
it
on the
spin,
freaking
right? You turn. Okay. You
so
turn.
yeah, exactly. I was like, let's just be friendly, meet people, see what happens and shit. There was a lot of those kind of unique
Yeah,
conversations. But anyway,
yeah.
so like I was trying to send her the money because it was through our phones and stuff.
Mhm.
Then it just wasn't working. I don't know why. I didn't have an app or I didn't have something that would transfer money to her or whatever.
Mhm.
And I'm like, she just kept trying to do it. And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna call it. I'm like, all right, I gotta go.
Yeah,
Appreciate your time.
right.
And good luck and all that kind of stuff. So so we turned, but I noticed there was a shift in her energy. And she was like, she said something nice to me, but I could feel like it was this like
Yeah, with disgust.
feeling like, yeah.
Mhm.
So it's like, I get it. I get the hustle, but like people just, you know what I'm trying
Was
to
her
say?
was her music good at least when you listen to it?
Uh, I don't remember. She was rapping. I don't remember. Yeah.
Okay. That's all you gotta say.
Yeah.
Not memorable.
Mm, yeah. Not well,
Say it.
I don't want to talk shit because I'm not gonna do
Okay,
that.
fair. That's fair, that's fair, that's fair. That's fair. I respect it. I respect it.
But yeah, so it's like those kind of
Yeah,
instances, it's like you kind of have to have an intuition about people because what they're presenting is very different than what's going on underneath.
yeah,
Yeah, so I feel like it's a lot of that, even just navigating your career or dealing with people in the industry too. Cause like,
yeah,
woo, I don't even,
yeah.
I don't know, it's a lot to think about. It's a lot.
Just maneuvering your way around the industry while keeping your integrity, staying true
Mm,
to yourself without having to put on too many masks just to get what you want, excuse me. Um, like myself, I haven't been like I don't even consider myself like too deep within the industry because I haven't like gone to label meetings or just had all these opportunities yet. You're going to manifest it, but like so I don't feel like I've had to do that per se. Like set a good what am I trying to say? Setting oh, what's the word? Fuck. Putting my foot forward in a sense that I'm not going to let anybody talk to me crazy or try to get one up on me. Making sure people again goes back to intentions, know what my intentions are within something and just know not to play with me. Like cuz I don't have a angry streak like that. I'm an Aries, which I don't I not to get into astrology, but that the whole thing of like Aries are fiery. I can see it in other people, but for me, I don't get like that. I'm very like calm and like very genuinely nice to people. So I don't get mad often, I would say that. But I don't ever want to get to a point within the industry to where I have to do that. That is what I'm trying to say. Um or have to, yeah, just acting as. Because I don't think it will serve me as much as I think it would serve me in the moment. Um, so just having a good grounding on my intentions, how like meeting people and going about those situations with as much respect as I can give. Hopefully, I receive it in the same vein. Hopefully, it's reciprocated on all fronts. And just, I don't know, I don't want to be shady or just like even have that name associated with me ever. And I haven't up until this point, as far as I know. Like, I don't have any enemies as far as I know. And I'd like to keep it that way. I don't want anybody to, I don't want whenever my name comes up for anybody to be like, oh, her, like in a negative
Mm,
sense. Or like,
yeah.
what? Or like like just have a negative connotation around my name at all. So,
Yeah.
like, as far or I haven't experienced anything like that, thankfully. Nobody's told me any scenarios to where somebody has talked about me in a negative sense, thankfully. So, and I'm gonna try to keep it that way. Stay low key.
Yeah, that's
And yeah,
good.
yeah.
I've had experiences of the opposite where
Oh.
I don't know, people just misinterpret me and my energy and all that type
Mhm.
of stuff.
Mhm.
So I've had people in the workplace literally just say to other people, and I've heard through them like, I don't trust her, like all this type of
Really?
stuff. Yeah, and
Mhm.
just like just actually just undermine my position.
Mhm.
And it's from a female as well. I mean, oh my god, I said female and people are gonna get triggered. Fuck, gonna watch.
Now
Oh,
they
fuck
already
it.
clicked off.
Fuck. I just mean like a woman.
You can edit that, yeah.
It was
And
a
then
woman. No, I don't know what it is, but like I want to talk about astrology. I'm a Virgo. And
okay.
so like I got a reading done and because I have Saturn opposite
Mhm.
my sun, it naturally like that placement causes some people to think I'm shady and stuff and like just there's going to be resistance to me in some ways. So it's
Mhm.
like that's been a natural part of my life.
Mhm.
People
Mhm.
just misinterpreting,
Mhm.
not understanding,
Yeah.
being confused about me. Um but yeah, at this point I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, period. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it really comes down to the way you view yourself.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel like a lot of people create more issues for themselves than it needs to be. And even the way that we interpret other people, like we project a lot of judgment and assume things about who they are. And it's not really like people
It's
don't
bad.
care to like understand who you are. They're just gonna filter the
Mhm.
information based on their own biases and stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why I'm always talking about judgment and kind of dissolving that
Mhm.
because it also affects the way that we relate to each other and what we can build like within the music industry and culture and stuff. And you don't have to like everyone,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's just like be respectful and just don't try to distort people's names just because you're on some type of ego trip.
Or right, that or because you may have had one bad particular experience with them. Like,
Mhm.
so, like, this, because I mean, it doesn't relate to me, but I just have heard stories of like their names being shitted on or shat on. So, I could have used another word for that, but
Shattered on.
being spoken negatively about solely because of one experience that they may have had with them. And I don't think that's fair to deem somebody in a negative sense again because of your one experience with them because that there could have been many factors again, especially if I'm only hearing one side of it. But I don't know, it's just I don't know. I don't
Think
know.
that like if I can tell that people are creating narratives around people just based off of like an initial
Mhm.
interaction, I don't trust those people.
Okay, fair. Mhm,
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like they're that's where they live, like, in their
mhm,
head. That's
mhm,
that's the type of reality they live in is where that's just, like, where everything
mhm,
all their reality becomes is, like, who's doing what,
mhm,
creating these narratives around
mhm,
people and who they are, so it's like,
mhm.
it's just, like, something to be aware of.
I agree. I agree. Do you okay, one of my last questions. Okay, how to phrase this. Alright, the overall thing I wanna briefly get to is competition, and if you've ever felt in a competitive state within the songwriting space, meaning, like, I don't know if you've ever been in a session where you're trying to
Yo,
get
you
a
sorry, you just broke up for a second.
oh, how about now? Testing, testing,
You're
testing.
you're good now, yeah.
Okay, okay. So, yeah, my question, alright. If you have ever been in a space where you felt some sort of competitiveness amongst, I guess, other songwriters that are in the setting that you're in, and y'all are all like working on the song, trying to get something done for an artist. Have you ever had a sense of, oh, this person's trying to one up me on a certain line or a certain lyric, and the speed of which I need to get these lyrics out, um, and just I don't know, just have an overall competitive spirit within that space. Have you ever dealt with anything like that?
Yeah, 100.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, of course. What
That
I
okay, go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I've definitely experienced people that have just subtly been condescending.
Mhm. Okay.
So I don't this is the thing, I don't see competition as a bad thing because I
Mhm.
think, like, in it depends on the way you utilize it and frame it, like, it can be, a catalyst for growth, like, we can
Right.
develop things and grow and be more creative. But,
Mhm, mhm,
I just think, like, when you're dealing with people who are primarily operating from um, a wounded version of themselves or someone that's insecure,
mhm,
that's going to be the way that they interact,
mhm.
the basis of which they interact with
Yeah.
everything.
Mhm,
Um, and I've even noticed it in myself, like when because I've been insecure. We're all insecure about certain things, and I've
yeah.
noticed ways that I would express myself in certain situations. And then I thought about it after. I'm like, why did I do that? And
Right.
it's this subtle thing of you're trying to like prove yourself or like um prove you're valuable in what you're inputting. And I
Mhm,
feel like just being in those kind of environments,
mhm.
I was like, this is not it.
Yeah.
Like, why do I have the urge to do this? So I kind of just stopped participating in that. I don't think
Mhm.
I've done anything that crazy in terms of that, but it's like, you notice certain things that come
Yeah.
out of you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I have experienced that. Like, for example, there was what I can think of now is like there was a time I was like I had the keys to the studio
Mhm,
and I was like professional studio
mhm,
and all that. And there was a writing camp that we were hosting, and so there were different locations that people would have be doing these writing sessions.
yeah.
And they would alternate. So like
Mhm,
I had the keys and I had the responsibility to look up, to open and make sure that the environment was like good for
mhm.
people to
Yeah.
come and create and stuff.
Mhm,
And one particular person in Australia, he was kind of pretty popular, and he was just talking to me in the session like I had no type of authority and stuff, 'cause, like
Of course,
I
yeah,
wasn't
I get
even a part of, like, the creative session. I was just,
Yeah,
like, overseeing the environment in the studio
yeah,
and stuff,
yeah,
and, like, he didn't know that I had the keys. He didn't know, like, what my role was within.
yeah. You didn't know you could kick him out, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I didn't do that, but I was just like, this doesn't feel good that people. I also wanna say, 'cause I feel like I have a soft demeanor for the most part, so
Mhm,
I've noticed that people will try to one up me or think they
yeah,
can get away with certain things, like, you know,
mhm,
I didn't like that, so, like, there was a lot
mhm,
of that, but what it taught me was to not, 'cause for a long time, I had a lot of resentment for the way that
mhm,
people were treating me, and, like, it just comes down to what I accept in my reality
mhm,
and how I
mhm,
accept that people treat me and how I view myself, so I really, for the last 5 years, have gone on this journey of, like, shifting the way that I think about myself, because you might have a good way that you think about yourself, but there's gonna be things that come up that, like, you're gonna be insecure about some shit.
mhm.
You
Yeah,
know? It's
yeah,
gonna it shows you where you're still believing certain things about yourself.
mhm,
So,
mhm,
now I'm in a position when I see someone do something crazy or, like, just try to do something towards me, I'm just
mhm.
like, it's so out of my realm, I can't even,
Yeah,
like, relate to it. I can't
yeah.
even, like, okay. What about you? Have you experienced stuff like that?
Mm, so, I think genuinely, more so on the competitive front, no. One reason being, I don't I haven't been, for one, to a writing camp or like a production camp by any means, but I have heard stories about them, both good and bad, but I've never presently been in one to feel that kind of pressure, I feel like, because and a good friend of mine, Anthony, he had mentioned this one time, um, that when you're in those rooms, you have to operate with the confidence in knowing that you were invited there, so you deserve your position there. And so if you ever feel like I'm not good enough or I don't deserve to be here, you were asked to be there. There is something you have that you possess that somebody wants. Whether they express it, whether they communicate with you like that they want it, cuz people are sly. People are slick. They observe, but they don't necessarily say what they want up front to you in the present moment. But it will get out that, oh yeah, she was fired, but I didn't say it, but she, she is dope. Things like that. And so I've always moved with the mindset that even if, I don't know, somebody, we're in the room and somebody's not necessarily feeling what I'm working on or feeling what I'm playing, there's a good chance you might not like it, but somebody will. And then even with like sending out beat packs, something as simple as that, whenever like I send out A&Rs or whatever all the time, I don't get hit back about any of them. Comes out later down the line, I'll get hit up by an artist. Oh, I saw your name in the beat pack and we wrote to such and such. Because I've had this happen where somebody, like, whenever I send out for something, I don't get communication. Nobody tells me anything. And then I don't find out months later that somebody has used whatever I worked on. And so just like minute things like that, I try not to overthink. Um, I'm not in the sense of music, I don't see myself as being incredibly competitive because I don't think that would bring out a good side of me. Honestly, I really don't. I like communicating and or collaborating rather, and everybody just sharing ideas. I feel like that'd be better than us trying to one up each other. Like for
Mm.
growth, sure, but not everybody operates mentally in the same space of I'm not going to feel a way about you doing something in a competitive sense. Like the egos are a big part of this, whether we want to admit it or not. And some people's egos are larger than others. So the feeling of disrespect, for a lack of a better word. I feel like that would be present if I were not even me, but just if I were to be in an environment and then everybody's there is trying to compete on the front
Mm,
on a to an extent. So, and I posed that question to you just overall because I saw a post on Instagram not too long ago asking that same question, like, of if you were to be in a writing camp or something and everybody's competing to land a placement, do you think that's good for the overall like mental or well-being of the craft, or does it bring out a negative side of people? Because people will feel away. And that's just human nature. Like, we want to be accepted, we want validation, and if we don't get it, then we're going to feel away. I selfishly, there have been times where, again, I may feel like, kind of goes against what I was just saying, but I may feel like, damn, I could have done that better, right? They weren't rocking with this. I wonder why. Or what could I have done differently within this beat to make them like it? Overall, that's not my problem. Everybody's interest is different, but I try not to overthink it. 'Cause again, I deserve to be here. Somebody's gonna
mhm.
like somebody's gonna like what I'm doing. So yeah, that it is just an interesting mental concept because a lot goes
Yeah.
into it. I feel like so. But yeah.
I think I think if you're working within a environment where people have a good concept of themselves, I don't think being competitive will be such a detriment because, like,
Mhm. You're
um,
helping each other
yeah,
in the end. Yeah.
yes, but like you could, like, if something comes up and you're like, and it really kind of bothers you about
Mhm.
maybe the way that you're seeing yourself or like
Mhm.
your talent or where your
Mhm.
skill level's at,
Yeah.
it's like
Mhm.
it's just an opportunity to like that information and like do something with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like whether it's changing the way you see yourself or developing an aspect of you that might you might
Mhm.
need to develop.
Mhm.
But I just don't mess with unhealthy type of mentalities in
Mhm.
regards to like people thinking they're superior than others just because
Uh-huh.
they have some type of gift that might
Yeah.
be
Or a title.
exceptional.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
you you have an award that I don't. That's it.
yeah, that no. I remember when I was younger, like I'm like 30 now,
Mhm.
but when I was maybe 18 or 19, I went to a artist development camp. And like some of the other singers would make fun of me. Just if I messed up
Mhm.
a freaking run or an ad lib or some shit like that.
Mhm.
And it's like I didn't like that because I think there's a way to communicate like what's going on if you did mess up or like if you need to improve something without belittling other people. So
Yeah. I
I
agree.
didn't like that. And yeah, there's a especially with singers and stuff, like
Yeah. Yeah. That's valid. That's
it
valid.
kind of gets crazy too.
Yeah. Not incredibly valid. Like, even on that same vein, um, or more so on the sense of when people will reach out to me and ask for advice or just like ways that they can improve on their beats or their production. And the feedback that I give, I try not to be, I want to be critical, but not in the sense of demeaning them or being
Mm.
like, just like flat out, this is not good. Like, I'll never, ever do that. I
Trash.
like this is like tomato, 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 tomato. Put it in the recycling bin ASAP. No, I would never do that. I found
Yeah.
that the best way of going about that is to offer ways of experimentation, right? Of ways that they could tweak things. Honestly, it honestly comes down to the mixing too, just like leveling, and that's more of an oral thing that people will develop over time as you listen to more music and listen to your music in the sense of like just hearing it in the car or via headphones.
Yeah.
That's something that's easily like tweakable, for lack of a better word. But of course, I can't make a beat for nobody. Like that's your own journey to go through. But experimentation is always something that I recommend because I don't feel like I'm qualified. Is not the right word, but just somebody who makes me beats. Like I don't have the credentials to like give you this pristine advice on like what you should be making, right? I'm just like you at the crib on a Friday night, Saturday night, um, making beats. So just like do your best to figure out what sounds right. Use YouTube for references. I always recommend YouTube. Just tutorials. Just listen and learn and experiment. Recycle those.
Mm.
Listen, learn, experiment. Listen, learn, experiment, and then you'll be um in better shape. But yeah, I don't because I know I wouldn't want nobody to listen to my work and be like, "That's downright ass." It could be ass. At least give me ways to improve the assery so it's not that bad.
Did you say assery?
Like, just think a little bit less than it does right now, and then we should be good.
Yeah. No, I like what you said, and it makes sense because, like, I think about even the exposure that I've so, like, when I was younger,
Mhm,
especially with vocals, I could really, understand the details and perceive the details.
mhm,
But, in terms of, like, mixing and developing the, like, actual engineering of, like, the sound quality and stuff,
mhm,
that was something that I developed over time, especially when I was getting into samples
mhm,
and going through that process, like, I feel like I've gone through this really weird experience with sound design
mhm.
because back in the day, like years ago, because I've
Yeah,
been doing music for like ages. So
yeah.
like the sound was clean, and then I just
Mhm,
went through like a really weird phase where
yeah.
everything just sounded really muddy and
Uh-huh.
dirty. And then now, like it's more clean. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like those subtle things that we go through
Mhm.
that's reflected in the music, it kind of
Yeah.
speaks to what's going on internally. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Like,
Yeah. Just sorry to cut you off. I just want to piggyback on that or ask, do you was there something that you can recall that influenced that change of everything being slightly muddier per se? Was it like a, I don't know, less VAT, less VSTs, or just like a sound or a reference that you may have heard to be like, oh, I kind of like how muddy that sounds. Let me try that and then see how we could go about experimenting with it in my own way. Was there anything that
mm,
kind of triggered that, or was it just like a sudden like or lack of quality? I guess.
mm, I think it was so I've kind of like always done music in my own, like in my room by myself and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
then I was exposed to more collaboration and stuff with
Mm-hmm.
people. I don't know. I think it was just like after I went through all of that, there was so much energy and resentment, like I was saying. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that influenced the sounds that I was creating because I've always loved the real spacey type
Mm-hmm.
of ambience
Yeah.
sounds.
Mm-hmm.
I love like I remember hearing the Tory Lane song. What's that song called? I can't remember. I smoke, I then I drink. Nothing. You
Um,
know what I'm talking about though, yeah?
I'm thinking of. I don't think it's that the precise one, but the you know it, you know it. It has sampled something. I don't remember the name of the song. But
I
continue.
I
I got the
can't I can't
yeah,
remember, but like it was
yeah.
I remember it was just
Mhm.
intoxicating and the way that the vocal were processed, like with the auto tune, just
Yeah.
had this like specific type of emotion to it in the tone. So like
Mhm.
I really love that and I want to explore
Yeah.
those type of sounds. But I feel like I don't know what happened. I feel like just sound just disoriented because I looked
Uh-oh.
at my period of time. Like
Oh, hold on, you cut off.
oh, can you hear me?
There we go. Okay. There we go. There we go.
I also think I was experimenting with different tools, like in terms
Mhm.
of yeah, like the VSTs and plugins and stuff, and just like understanding how it all works and like
Mhm.
how I can make it work uniquely for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I even remember sending some stuff to producer who's like
Mhm.
an engineer as well, and it was
Mhm.
like the idea is cool. It's just like lay off on the auto tune. And I'm like, yeah, I was high when I recorded that.
I wasn't even halfway here when I did that. So, oh, okay. I got a follow up question. I got a follow. I don't know how often you partake, but do you find yourself to be creative when you're high? Like actively working? Because me, I don't indulge too much, but I'm expose myself here. Last weekend, a friend of mine had bought some edibles. It's very small. Hold on. These joints right here, they're very
Okay,
small. I'm going to show you.
okay,
I gotta give context.
okay.
Y'all listen, you can't see it, but damn, if I can open it, sorry, I know. Okay, I gotta give context. One is 10 milligrams of these.
Yep.
Again, I don't partake on this. I don't know how much 10 milligrams of THC is. I don't know what it feels like,
I don't know
but
what
I
it
took
is.
two. Yeah, I took two last Friday evening.
Mhm.
When I tell you, I took it at 6:30. By 7:50, I was out of here. And like I said to say, I cannot work like at my laptop making anything under that. Like listening to music is perfect
Mhm.
for that state. Not to like promote, but it felt good. It felt good, but actively trying to like play the keys,
Mm,
it doesn't work. And so I don't. I'm sure I can understand, but like even when you're in sessions with people that are smoking, and it's like I don't get how y'all do that because how do you like I know it's a feeling thing, but being present to actively work is where the disconnect is for me. So,
mm.
at least I'm gonna say, how do you go about doing that?
Well, I'm in the same boat as you. I
Yeah,
don't smoke much,
same. Yeah,
like ever. I don't do drugs.
yeah, same, same. For clarity,
So,
same.
for clarity, just to make sure
It's
people
not promoting any edible
no,
usage.
no, but like, I have smoked weed before, and I just like I'm naturally a very aware and perceptive person, and I like being in my body. Like,
Mhm.
I don't like feeling very disconnected,
Yeah,
and that's what
it
I'm
does.
also very energetically sensitive. So when I
Mhm.
do that kind of thing, um, I just don't want to do anything. Like it
Mhm.
doesn't make
Same.
me more productive. But there
Yeah.
have been times where I have smoked or like even alcohol and stuff
Mhm.
where I feel like alcohol makes it fun.
Mhm.
I feel like with weed, it just makes it my perception is just weird.
Mhm. I can see that. I can see that. I can see that.
um, but I don't like being in those states. And I
Yeah.
think there's also a misconception that um I personally don't like when people talk about how that it enhances your creativity and like they
Mhm.
just become dependent on that as being the
Mhm.
resource at which they can access creativity from. I've
Yeah.
never resonated with that idea.
Mhm.
I think it can enhance certain experiences and like
Mhm.
but everyone is different as well, so I
Right.
want to say
Yeah.
that. But
Mhm.
I do think like we have a very innate creative potential that we don't need substances and we don't
Mhm.
need that type of stuff. I think the
Mhm.
more that we tap into like our true essence
Mhm.
and like our authenticity, the
Yeah.
creativity is just gonna happen. Like
Yeah.
I just think some people rely on it and also just make it their identity.
Identity, yeah.
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 I'm
Okay,
saying
that's
this
valid.
with the most kindness in
Leading
case
with love.
people,
And
yes,
right.
leading with love, you know. But
No harsh
that's
tone in it.
that's just how I feel about it. I don't relate to it like that.
Same. Same. Like, at the very least, it's I don't even know if enhances is the right word, but I just find myself extra like intuitive to the music. Like I remember just one years ago when on an Eddie trip, listening to her one of her album. Don't remember what could have been with Bryson Tiller. I was listening to that. And I just remember just lying in bed, lights off, just like flat on my back, just looking up this is the ceiling and like genuinely breaking down each sound, the vocal layering, the reverb, I wonder how much EQ they cut off here. Just like being super
Yeah.
critical. And it felt good. Again, not to promote, but it felt good. Would I want to do that again? Probably not, because I don't just going back to what you said, I like being in control of my sense of self. So very much so in that state, I am not. And I don't partake in it often at all. It's very much a once a year, if that type situation.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just interesting to hear because like even with some of my friends, they like smoke during sessions and it's an aid to them, but it's interesting to get that point of view or I guess take on how do you see yourself being productive in that state versus not. And
Mhm.
like you said, people do rely on it a whole lot, which that's crazy to me, but teach
Mhm.
his own. To each his
Yeah.
own.
I understand what you mean also about the dissecting and like hearing the sounds different. Like, because
Mhm.
I've had that experience too, where I was just like
Mhm.
listening to a song and I'm like, I can like feel the dimensions of this in a different way. Like
Yeah.
what this hi-hat is doing, or like
Yeah.
what like listening to the delay and how far it goes out, you know?
Yeah, how many notches they use. When I tell you, like, I remember too, because I was about to tweet it, like live tweet it as I was listening in this state, like, y'all gotta listen to such and such high because the hi-hats is going so crazy right now. I didn't hit send. It's still in my drafts, I'm sure. But I remember because when I tell you, I was fangirling for like a solid 5 minutes
Oh my god, that is
over
so
this one
funny.
song.
The hi-hats are going crazy right now. Like, you gotta listen to it.
You
The
gotta hear
hi-hats
205 in the song. Please put that on loop because it's gonna be right there.
Oh my god. I
Yeah.
know I know that feeling, man. That's funny.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Speaking of
Yes.
substances,
Okay.
what do you feel like your medicine is to the world?
Oh, what a question to follow up with. Oh my goodness. Come on. That's a professional, y'all. Come on. All right. What is my. All right. Can you repeat it one more time? This is the one I got to think about.
What is your medicine to the world?
Okay. The go to answer in a music sense would be the feeling of, I would say, euphoric in the sense of like the melodies and ear candy aspects that I add to a song, feeling like I often compare it to a conversation or just a story and like just progressing certain melodies, taking things out, reverses, just it'd be a lot going on. I'm not gonna lie sometimes, but overall, just telling a story within the music and having it take you somewhere. Self promo, Ashley on the ride. That's the sense. Taking you somewhere, um, just feeling like you're on a road, on a journey to get like more in depth with it. Um, So yeah, in a music sense, I'd say that. In a general sense, laughter. I like to laugh. I like to have a good time, smile. It's usually when people meet me, um, it's this, they just compliment the smile or just like being giddy, I guess, for lack of a better word. Because when I tell you, this took time. And I tell you, I
Mm.
was shy to my core, even
Mhm.
as recently as freshman year of college. I didn't go out much in college. Even to senior year in college, I didn't go out too much. But through music, I have been able to express myself more, again, meet people, and just come out of my shell a bit more compared to 5, 6 years ago. Like, you contact me 5, 6 years ago to do this, I would send you a nice little text. Say, sister, I'm sorry. I'd love to, but I'm making an excuse. I got something to do tonight, so I can't do it. But no,
I feel you.
it's just like just the yeah, just the ability to make somebody's day and just overall brighten the mood of a general setting, I feel like has been my aid. And like I keep repeating it. I am to my core very calm, chill, happy go not lucky, but just a happy person. Happy go lucky.
Yeah.
No, I'm just like a I just want to be a bright spot in someone's day. I never want to ruin someone's day. Whether it be like sending them a terrible beat or sending them a good beat. I want to send them a good beat and make them inspire them in a sense and make them feel positively about them and their craft and what they can do. So I
Mhm.
feel like that's a good medicine, I feel like.
Yeah. I really love this answer because you know what? I have this is like the first time we've had this conversation, like
Yeah.
a proper conversation, right?
Mhm.
But even leading up to like this interview, I was like, what do I feel like your medicine is? Just from
Uh-huh.
what the limited perception I had of you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I feel like your medicine is joy. And so
Yes.
the fact that you answered that, I was like, okay. And
We want to say yeah. I see you, you see me.
yeah. So that's crazy. I just wanted to say that because I'm
Uh-huh.
like, just your energy and like
Uh-huh.
even through your photos and the
Mhm.
content that I've seen of like
Mhm.
you in your beats
Yeah.
and like and just what you post and your
Yeah.
stories, it's like there's this joy and this positivity that exudes
Yeah.
through you. So and
Thank you.
even just
Thank
like straight when we just jumped on the call, it was like
you.
high energy, positive, laughter, you
Yeah.
know? I love that.
Thank you, thank you. See, I will get out the have you seen me with my big old hat?
Yes.
Have you seen that yet?
Yeah. I
Piece of the
remember
hat
when
that hat is yeah.
I was just gonna say, I remember when I saw that on your story, like I was
Yeah.
watching the story. One is like you just making a beat. The next one is
Yeah.
like this huge ass head. I'm like, what the?
We get here.
Where did you get that from?
So, I was on my lunch break at work one day. I genuinely drove across town to this sporting goods store that just has a ton of like collegiate gear, college football, whatever, sport gear. I wasn't going there to get this hat. Let me just say that right now. I wasn't going there with the intentions. Hold on, I'm actually gonna get it. 1 second. 1 second. Second. So I had no intentions on getting this. It is humongous, mind you.
Like
Very, very
literally
big.
massive.
So I had saw it because I had went in there to get a shirt and it was only two of these in stock. I was like, you know what? I'm never gonna wear this out in public. I have no reason to. Even at a
No
game, I'm
reason
gonna
to
ruin
wear.
right. Somebody behind me is gonna let me know that they don't like me wearing this hat, so I have no reason to do that. But I
Someone's
bought it.
gonna let me know that
Right.
they don't
But
like it.
they don't like it, they take that shit off and I will. But so yeah, following that, I had got on IG Live one day. I didn't have it on at first, but I saw, you know what, let me just put it on. And then people that would join, they'd be like, yo, what is that? Where'd you get that? And they just get laughed at it, right? So now it's a prop for comedy, for
Mm,
lack of a better word. But I call it my creative cap.
yeah.
Because genuinely, like when I do have it on, which is rare now, but whenever I'm on IG Live working on stuff, it helps. I don't know what it is, but it's a feeling, you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I can also hide behind it too. So if I say something stupid, be like, "Oh, you ain't see that. You hear that?"
It literally is bigger than your head,
Like,
like your
it's really
face.
face, yeah.
Mm,
So don't ask me how much it costs. I don't remember, but we're not going to talk about price. But yes, I guess it's worth the
I
purchase.
love it. I need a hat like that, to be honest. That would be just like you just feel so different when you put it on.
Yeah,
Like,
and
just
it's heavy. It's heavy. I'm not gonna lie, it is heavy.
I wanna end this session. This has been a really fun
Yeah,
session, like talking to you.
thank you. Likewise, likewise.
But to finish it off, I want to ask, what are your hopes and dreams for yourself, but also creative people and this culture that we're in?
And dreams. Well, I'll speak for me first. I want to like winning a Grammy would be nice, but that's not like a primary sole focus goal of mine. Being awarded in any sense would be nice, whether it be some kind of plaque. I love to have a showcase, like visual representation of my work, like hung up somewhere. That'd be nice. Um, but just I want to on a creative and like just as a person continue to inspire creatives to experiment and not be so hard on themselves for experimenting, whether it be good or bad. Um, it takes a lot of self-confidence to put yourself out there in general, just across the board. But especially with your art, whether it be photography, music, singing, in any avenue that you're working on, putting yourself out there and keeping your work up there, not taking it down if it doesn't get 2 likes or anything like that. Not being hesitant on putting your work out there and getting to a space to where you're comfortable. Because I'm even myself still working through this, like putting stuff up, posting stuff, and not being like, oh, even especially with my writing, like, damn, I don't know if I should do that. It doesn't sound too good. And just like self-critiquing myself before I even give what I post a chance to thrive, right?
Mhm.
So just being in a state to where I myself and other people can, post their stuff and not be so judgmental about it and so self-demeaning about it. So that's one thing. I feel like leading into this following question, I feel like we could be kinder to one another in how we go about um, sharing our thoughts on other people's crafts. And I in the past, I'm sure I'm guilty of this. Like whether I say it out loud or just like subconsciously, be like, oh, I don't know if they should do that, or just like things like that. Just changing my mindset to be like, okay, why did they do that? Like,
Mm,
what were they going through that I could see or hear from what I'm listening to that made them make that decision? And just being more understanding of that rather than my first thought being, damn, they shouldn't have done that. That was a choice, right? Just having that mindset. I don't want that to be my go-to. Because just reflecting on me, I wouldn't want anybody's perception of me being negative in that sense. I'd rather them question me on why I did something rather than just to shit on me right away. If that makes
mhm.
sense. I really hope this is making
Yeah,
sense.
it
But
does.
yeah, so just overall, excuse me, um, kindness to myself, to others, continuing to help others, aid others. I'm always like when people reach out to me for going back to my earlier point, um, reach out to me for advice or tips or something that can better improve their work. I'm always down to give feedback when I can. Like I try to be transparent. Like, okay, I can't listen to this right now, but I'll get back to you when I can for a proper response. And I do. Like I will sit there and I will voice memo you about your work, and rather than like type out something short and kind of vague, because I feel like that
Mhm.
doesn't really help you. That just tells you very simply what I did or didn't like, and I just that's not enough. So um yeah, continuing to help people in that regard. That just also goes into my YouTube channel to where I haven't done it in years, but I would post tutorial videos on mixing and things of that nature that I did at the time. Granted, a lot of that stuff I don't really do anymore in regards to how I used to mix 5, 6 years ago to now. Because I'm a lot more simple in my workflow and my approach to making beats nowadays. But just like anything on the advice or the tutorial front, I try to be of aid to the community, for lack of a better phrase. But yeah, just spreading love and light, you know.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, really positive and just genuine intentions that I can feel from you, so I appreciate it.
Exactly. Of course, thank you just for this because I haven't yapped in a long time. If I overdid, I am so sorry. I'm
No!
genuinely, I'm generally not this talkative, but that's what like I said, and when I said in the text, wherever the conversation leads, we'll go. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice because I really try to make sure that because this is like a conversation that we're
mhm,
having, so I know that one of my gift is being able to allow people giving people the room to like just be themselves and express. So like
mhm,
that's kind of what I want to portray in my
mhm.
podcast and just like showing
Yeah.
like you are a light
No, you are.
and
Yeah.
and you should express that. So like I
Yeah.
love to facilitate that.
Thank you. You've done a good job, and also beneficially because like just overall, people like producers, especially oftentimes it's a mask there. We don't know who. Even for me, when I'm like on a producer's page, I don't know who you are because a lot of the times it's either cover art of things they worked on, or like the little what is it, the files music sign with the beats that they post. So I don't get a sense of who you are as a person that way, and I
Mhm.
likely wouldn't otherwise. If I don't reach out to you or have some kind of communication with you, obviously, then I wouldn't know who you are. So just having the platform to show people who I am, um, rather than them just see my Instagram story or whatever. I don't know. It's good. It's good. It's good. 'Cause, I mean, I'm goofy on Instagram. I mean, when I tell you, I am not very. I am kind of hands off with Instagram. Like when I post something, I just post it and I'll get off the app for the rest of the day and then come back sometime towards the nighttime. Be like, oh, okay, such and such responded to this, and then boom. But I try not to be too attached to Instagram, not Twitter. That's a different story. I'm always on there. Not gonna lie. I'm always cackling on there. But with Instagram, it's very hands off. I post my art, I post my videos, people react to it how they want to, and then I just leave it at that.
Mm.
Yes, say all that to say, thank you for allowing me this platform to get to know you, to get some insight from you. I got me another Australian friend. That's a plus for
Yeah.
me. That's a plus for me.
Yeah.
So when I come out to Melbourne, I'm sorry, we're still learning.
It's alright.
Melbourne,
Say yeah,
it's gonna be a
Melbourne.
good time. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I hope we can talk more and just like,
Yeah.
get to know each other more.
Mhm. Likewise.